nothing factory's going to fit in that truck.
Everybody comes here because they want something different. They want something of their own.
Go big or go home.
Our forting, our axle, our bag mount, and our shock mount gives this thing that bulldog stance. So we're going to cut this firewall out, and there you go. We got air conditioning.
All the blood, sweat, and tears that's went into this Willys. I can't wait to see it finished.
Oh, look at that. Outstanding.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Morning. How's it going?
Man, it's going real good, Carlos. I've been blessed to keep getting busier and busier. Our builds just get bigger and bigger. And because of that, we're just bursting at the seams, and we need more help.
Well, it's been really nice working here, man. Everybody's great. The builds are awesome. Clients have been amazing. It's just been a good time, man, and I enjoy it.
It's definitely hard to find the right people with the right skill set. Well, let's make it official, man.
All right.
I'm on full time.
I'm ready.
Let's do it, man.
Yes, sir.
Luckily, Carlos came from California to help coordinate our build. And I want to show you something, man. You mind if I drive real quick?
Yeah, where we're going?
You'll see. Insurance paid up, right?
Yes?
You know, he's only been here for a little while, but he's fitting right in. Oh, I forgot something. Let me go back up here real quick. Some days you think it's going to be a normal day. Well, that's total opposite around here. I mean, we're always striving to go bigger and better and to be the best.
This is not the kind of donuts I thought we were going to go get, but man, this is amazing.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Just doing more.
Yeah, you always got to have that little more, a little more. Speaking of,
Man, the text message said come up front. I didn't know this was an intervention. We've been working too hard? Too much work?
no.
Need to cut back on the amount of work I'm doing?
We watch the cameras and we know better.
Or that's right.
That's why we need to talk to you.
What we want to talk about is that Willys.
Okay.
I'm really getting excited about it.
Yeah.
But we're still a long ways away. The 1960 Jeep Willys rolled in a while back, and it was in really good shape. But the owner, he wants a one-of-one. You know, something totally different, unlike anything else, and he wants that just aggressive bulldog look. So we went big, split that cab up into 4 pieces, you know, making it 8 inches wider and about 6 inches longer. Bob Grant, one of the top guys in the game, made that body just look like it came that way from the factory.
Yeah, this is my first big build with you guys, and seeing that thing for the first time was just impressive, and I can't wait to see it finished.
But we're getting close, man. We're getting real close. Once that cab was larger, we had to go with that larger frame. So we built the frame with the same size tubing we use on a 1-ton truck. So it's way strong enough to handle that 6.2 Hellcat engine that's going in it. It matches the size and design of the body. It looks like it came on that Willys. We still need to do the firewall, suspension, front and rear.
So we're bagging it too, right?
Yeah, big 4-link with big airbags. You know, speaking of doing something right, John, it's time for the interior.
Cool. I've been waiting. I've been itching, watching everybody work on it and just kind of getting ideas and thinking about being able to do something with that truck. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, man. We don't have anything. We threw everything away.
It's not like it was going to work anyway.
Right, exactly.
It's bigger, it's wider. Nothing factory's going to fit in that truck.
It's on you to fill all that room with a bunch of coolness.
So, custom door panels, something flows, nice lines from the car.
Yeah.
We'll do custom seats, custom shaped foam, covers, whole 9 yards. With custom audio, we'll do it in the center console. See, the idea is to keep all the leg room that we work so hard to get it.
Sure.
So, tied into the custom kicks, just for the kick of it.
Okay, well, I'll just get you the material you need for the interior.
All right.
Just let me know what colors and stuff like that you need.
Your fingers are warmed up.
They're warm.
It's way more just material. I mean, you got plenty of stuff to get started.
All right, well, this has been fun, but I got work to do.
Go do it. We mocked up the engine and because the Hellcat's pushing over 700 horsepower, we're going with an extra heavy-duty suspension.
Now we got the front axle in place, all the front suspension done, even the engine's in place. Now we want to make the upper back supports look as aggressive as the rest of the build. All right, so Jesse got these plates burned out for me. Now I could go get them shaped to fit the curvature of the tubing. God dog. Now we got this bent perfectly. Cleanup time. All I'm doing now is taking all this middle scale and black paint off of it. Giving me some bare metal. Nice shiny metal is better to weld on. Now I got the plate where I want it. I could go ahead and get that welded in. Yeah, just like that. So we got our lower bag mount here, which the bottom of the bag is going to sit on, and our upper bag mount, the top of the bag is going to sit on. Now, next step we're going to do is make a gusset that connects from here down to the side of the frame rail, give it a lot more support. We're going to do it out of pipe as well. Do it like that, we can't get that bolt out. But if we do it like that, we can. As you can see here, this definitely is going to add a lot of support to the end of this bracket. Pretty bueno. Now we got a complete bag mount. Four links are in, axles on. We got our bag mounts on. Last final piece to the front suspension, doing the shocks. All we gotta do is make us some shock mounts that attach from the frame to the top of the shock. So after doing shocks about 1,000,000 times, we're gonna cut us a template out, something like that. We'll see how close we get to having that correct. Pretty confident it's be pretty close. Perfect. Now we're gonna take this, get that cut out. Now we got all 4 pieces cut out. We can get these sanded, put some holes in it. Now I got the first hole. I can clamp the second one together. Use that hole as a pilot. Punch to the second one. Now with everything in place, our 4 links, our axle, gives this thing that wide bulldog stance to handle the width of the body now, the power of the motor, size of the wheels and tires. With everything coming together, this setup is perfect for it.
So today's the day. We're going to get started on the door panels for the Willys Jeep. The look they're going after, with this one, that's kind of a utilitarian style. They still want it nice and clean and classy, but at the same time, it's still got that big, beefy, nasty stance to it. So with that, we don't want too many curved lines or anything, so it's going to be kind of straightforward. We'll round out the corners and give it our own touch. Kind of going to be my roadmap for the computer. We'll be able to expand and elaborate on our design, change them around, do what we need to do, and have a door panel. Every one of our builds have to be completely different, so it's really difficult to always keep one-upping yourself, but it's also nice to always one-up yourself. It keeps you motivated, keeps you moving. Next step, take this in place and get it on the router. It's that magic butter. This is a fiberglass reinforced body filler that we use when we're making gaps bigger than 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. Anything bigger than that, Bondo really doesn't have the strength that you need, so we use this. Helps hold our shape. A little more difficult to sand, but in the end, it's really worth it because it just keeps everything nice and straight. You don't have to worry about it breaking or cracking or anything. Oh, like a glove. So now we've got a nice trim ring built around it. Everything worked out great. Next thing we have to do is build the armrest on top of it. This is one of the things that just don't like doing with a machine. To me, it's a lot more fun, part of the creative process of building things manually and getting your shapes and things in it that way. You can usually look at something and tell if it's been mostly done by a machine or if there's handwork, how much handwork's gone into it. It just has more of an organic feel. So to me, there's no replacing that. A lot of people like to do, we'll do a test piece or something. No, I like to just go straight in, dive right in, full bore. If you're not going to put 100% into your practice piece, you'll never know what the full potential is of the part you're trying to make. Go big or go home. All right, door panel's all body worked out, ready to go. Next step, get some leather on this, get the inserts wrapped, and we'll be ready to put it on the truck.
Come through the shop all the time. Oh man, you inspire me to do this, to weld more in my garage, or to be more hands-on. And then customer comes in, says, well, I've seen how you did this. Well, I want to do this. And the projects they spiral out of control from there. Like the Willys, for example. Bob coming in and just making it look so easy. Cutting a cab up like that and putting it back together, that just ain't something anybody can do.
So we had to cut through all this structure and everything, and when we rebuild it, we're gonna have to put it back, all that structure back in.
I mean, Union Home, to be able to come in, make it look as easy as he does, make it go back together as easy as it looks, that's really saying something. To make the body lines match up the way they do, the proportions look the way they look. I mean, that's a skill set in itself also. Just the cab on the Willys is something we can all be proud on. And having Bob part of that is key.
I know this looks crazy and bad right now, but once we get it all cut out and trimmed up, it's gonna look perfect.
This is extensive metalworks. We do metalwork on pretty much every project that comes in and out the door. There is some sort of metal shaping, welding, grinding. All that technique is built into pretty much everything that goes in and out. But this Jeep Willys, I mean, every inch of it is metalwork. It's something that's evolved into a really, really, really cool project that everyone in this shop is proud of. Jeep Willys. The 4-link, new axles, bag mounts, shock mounts, it's all done. Now we're making the heavy-duty hangers for that rear suspension.
This is the easy way I found to line it up and make it all straight. I make all the cuts right here without having to do it on the frame. Kind of something cool too, the Willys has a little roll in the fenders, so this kind of duplicates the fender a little bit the way it rolls back. Once it gets welded out, it gets super strong, it's all going to flow together.
Now Tim got these nice hangers tightened in place. I'm going to go ahead and get these welded out. After that, we're going to start building a heavy-duty 4-link to accommodate the heavy-duty rear end to handle all the power that Hellcat's going to put out. It would be pointless to put your basic 4-link on this, so we're definitely going to put an upgraded heavy-duty 4-link on there to make sure it withstands all the power and torque that this engine is going to put to that rear wheel. Now we got the hangers all welded in, some good strong welds. Now it's time to get that 3/4 ton axle in and get that 4-link built. First thing we're going to do is get this from front to back on both sides. We want this thing straight across and even. 12 7/8. From the edge, I'm going to mark me a couple reference lines so I know exactly where our axle tabs are going to mount. So when we set our axle tabs here with the 4-link part, we know that it's going to be perfectly straight.
You always want to make sure the bar is going to be just as strong as everything else. So if we're using a bigger, heavier duty piece of DOM, so when he does step on it, you should have no problem at all with the 4 links. This is the gravy maker.
All right, we got the top 2 bars in. We're gonna tack them in place so it don't move, and we'll get our bottom ones made.
One more time. All right.
That looks right. All right, we got the hangers in place, all welded out. Heavy duty 4-link bars in. Now this thing's gonna be able to handle whatever that engine throws at it.
What you doing, man?
Oh, hey, what's going on? So I just got off the phone with the owner of the Jeep Willys. And true to the era of the Jeep Willys, so I printed this out, and it's got all the different colors that they have.
So this is what we're picking from, huh?
Yeah.
That's way better picking through a whole color book, right?
Yeah.
You know, a couple of these, you can just mark these right off the list. Peacock blue, Palm Beach ivory, no. Tropical rose.
Yeah, that Jeep doesn't really scream tropical.
Yeah. One of the things I've been thinking about this, you know, of course, the whole time you're building something, you're thinking, hey, what color is going to look, what it's going to look like in the end, right? And I've been thinking dark green since, you know, for a while now. That pretty much makes it easy on this. That deep, deep green is going to look really, really good on there. I think, you know, you're really going to see all the body lines. I'll get with Juan back there. We're going to mix it up, you know, a little bit. We don't want to have, you know, boring green, but...
Yeah, you got to keep it a little custom, but
right,
keep it OEM style.
Yeah.
And then it'd be a one-of-a-kind color just for his Jeep.
You know, as far as the interior color also, man, it has to be a tan. I think that deep green with the tan interior, I mean, that's a win-win right there. This is going to stand out like no other. I'm going to go get with Juan, get something mixed up, because we're ready.
Yes, sir.
We're going to make it happen.
Go.
Making that Jeep longer and wider than it was originally, it's not only a metalworking challenge, it means none of the original interior pieces are going to work. John needs to build every part and piece from scratch. And I mean everything.
Got the base of the door panel all wrapped. Everything worked out great. So next step is finish making the mat pocket. We're going to use this spring steel. We're going to put this like an insert inside of a leather sleeve, and it'll just create our belt that goes across the opening for our mat pocket. Everything I've done has been self-taught. Screwed up a lot of stuff. Had to fix a lot of stuff. I guess that was one of the driving factors when I started doing it, is not wanting to pay for broken stuff. So you got either good at fixing it or not breaking it, one of the two. Then over time you just get better at not breaking it, but still screw up stuff. That's a good looking door panel. I'll put that on a Willys Jeep.
You know, it's no secret, I'm a big fan of air suspension. On-road, off-road, doesn't matter. It's a better driving experience. That's it.
We got a center of our bags laid out. So what we're going to do is make a perimeter around it with pipe and then plate it all in. That's going to be our upper bag mount. Okay, so right now I got our pipe in here. Fix to go ahead and cut out our section of pipe. Then I'm going to take it over to the pipe bender. Then that's going to be our upper bag mounts. Jesse just burned us out some plates right here. This is where our bag is actually going to bolt to. I got to trim it just a little bit more. Once I do that, I'll go ahead and punch the holes in for the bolt and air fitting. Once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and weld this thing out all the way. All right. Got both the upper bag mounts done. Everything's welded in. So next is go ahead and put them on the truck.
suspensions like the one on the Willys than I can even remember. When mocking up the shocks, it's critical to see how they fit with everything fully compressed.
Because I'll get.
Okay, so we got our mock-up shock here, compressed. Go ahead and set our tabs. Got it. Once we do that, we'll know where we're gonna mag drill through the frame. We're gonna go right through the frame. That's gonna tie in the upper part of our shock. Alright, got our hole.
So we got our DOM. The shock is going to hang off the side of the frame and come down to the axle. So we wanted something really substantial to hold all the jarring of the shock. So we put DOM through the frame so we can through bolt it and, you know, tighten it up and be nice and strong.
So it's a sleeve, basically, to go over our DOM. Just cosmetic, basically. You know, it's gonna look better. Okay, so now we got our upper shock mount done. So now we're just gonna through bolt it. Line everything up. I'll tack it right on the rear end right here. Okay, shocks are in. Everything looks parallel. I like it.
So we're getting started on the console for the Willys Jeep. We're going to do a stack fab style box. So basically, we're just going to make a bunch of rings. We're going to put a subwoofer in it. The woofer's going to be on the back side, firing at the back wall of the truck. And we have a good solid foundation for our curve. We don't have to worry about any flex or anything like that. So really good way to go about it. Give it a squeeze. Just got a clamp on here. We're going to let this glue dry for a minute. Once the glue's dry, we'll put the baffle on it, cut our hole in it, and start shaping these sides in. Step one, rough cut. There's just something to be said for knowing that you can do whatever you want with your hands. You know, that's one thing I've always said, because I'll find something to do. I'll find a way to make something. One of the challenges, you know, is you've got the customer that has certain expectations and they have certain wants and needs, and then you on your artistic side, you're trying to up your game and kind of set it up and push yourself a little further every time. So getting that fine balance between the two of giving the customer what they're after and still putting your little spin and your touch on it, but there's still some constraints at times, and this is the nature of the beast. I like it. All right, man. We got this thing all body worked out, ready to go. So the next step on the center console is to go ahead and work in the piece that goes around the shifter up into the armrest. So we'll be able to attach this to the front of the subwoofer box. So the next thing I have to do is start working on the insert and all the parts that go around the shifter. So we can body work that into this panel. Everything starts with a basic form, basic shape. It's just how far do you take it from there? So time to get busy and get some mud on this thing. Chipboard, fiberglass, bodywork, every day. If you're fabricating, you're bodyworking, I promise you. If you're not doing it right. Give it some sandy sands, common thread to fabrication, sanding. Lots and lots of sanding.
Usually because we go with bigger engines and transmissions, we cut the original firewall out. Now it's time to replace it with a new handmade firewall. Even though you won't always be able to see it, we're going to give it that same custom look as the rest of the Willys.
Now we got the cab lifted up off the frame. What I'm going to do is start removing all this stuff that's not needed anymore. And we're going to cut this firewall out and build a whole new one that looks really nice. There's no point in having this ugly looking firewall when the rest of the truck is completely custom. And there you go. We got air conditioning. You know, typically the firewall is flat, but right here where the motor is, I'm gonna make it curve in and curve back out. So not only does it gotta curve in from this little challenge is fun to do, you can't always have it easy all the time, then you get burnt out. So now we're creating our radiuses horizontally and vertically at the same time. It takes a lot of time, but the finished product looks so much better. We got the hardest piece done. Now that it's tucked in place, we can build our templates for what we're gonna design on the rest of the firewall, which is mainly flat stuff with some bead rolling. Should be way easier than that part. First thing I'm gonna do first, cut this in half. I'm gonna bead roll some patterns that matches the rest of the patterns that are on the truck already. So this panel will match perfectly to the truck and not look out of place. Now we got our first panel. We got our patterns recessed in like the rest of everything. And I raised the perimeter around the hood hinge so that this panel will sit flat against the firewall. All I gotta do is trim off all the excess that's not needed and get it tacked on the firewall. Alright, we got all the panels made, cut to fit. All we gotta do is weld it in.
Project like this Jeep Willys, that's one of the most labor-intensive jobs that you can actually do to a vehicle. Every part along the way is just hours put in. From cutting apart the body and totally remaking it, the frame, the suspension, of course that handmade bed. Most of the time when you have a project, you're working with parameters there. You're just changing, tail lights or maybe changing the wheel well opening a little bit just to add those custom touches. Well, in this case of the Willys, there's no reference points to go off of. Creating the whole bed, it's work, but really more of the challenge is making it look like it came that way. That's a whole different ballgame. Stepping back and getting the proportions right, the right body shape, the flow of the body, all that is super critical. To see how to bend those lines and how long to make the lines and where to put the wheel well opening and how to shape the wheel well. The key is all the blood, sweat, and tears that's went in this Willys it's finally coming to an end. So we're right there at the finish line, and I can't wait to see it finished. When you're working on these big builds, you always learn to celebrate these big milestones.
We'll do it.
With all the months and months of metal work finally done, we can finally send this frame off to powder coat. It's a very big day.
When you finally send off the frame, that's one of them days that you really look forward to because all the fabrication's been done. And once you get it back, clean out the powder coat of holes, and you get to start reassembling this thing, and it really starts to come together.
The Willys metalwork is all done. The body shop did their thing, now it's time for paint.
Green for the money, gold for the honey. Alright, so we're gonna paint this Jeep's Willy, Jeep Green, which that's actually the name of the color. It's called Jeep Green. Basically, it's a military green with some glamour, and it's gonna be a nice color. It's gonna be something exotic, something nice. All our colors, so now we're ready to take it to the shaker and get it all mixed up. So we got our green Jeep metallic for a green Jeep. It's going on a green Jeep. green. It's gonna look good. I like it.
As a contrast to the green paint on the Willys, we went with a tan leather for that interior. You know, with that color combo, it'll really make these handmade seats really stand out.
Decided to go with a pair of buckets in it, so I've taken some foam, gotten it all shaped out, so now it's just a matter of sitting here, have something to work off of to make our patterns. Let's see, so we're gonna run center on this. Once I got that, it's just time to start coming up with ideas. Probably one of the hardest parts of all of this is the simple fact that no two can be the same. Everybody comes here because they want something different. They want something of their own. You know, it takes a little bit of effort, a little bit more work to get it worked out, to make it happen, but definitely what we shoot for. Something like that. Foam gives our pattern some workability, make it lay nicer, look better. And now we play Tetris. Let's go sit down and do some sewing. Oh yeah. We've got two halves of our insert. We're going to put these together. We're going to make a strip to go up the center. Get that sewn down. It'll custom top stitch. So it's like drawing on it with a marker. You get it crooked, you're going to see it. All right, got the first insert done. That's ready to go. Next step, rinse, wash, repeat, and go on to the next one.
Parts and pieces back from the powder coat. There's 1960 Jeep Willys. You know, it's bare frame, so we're putting on every part and piece. We got the axles painted, all the 4-link bars, powder coat tapped out of them. We got our Hellcat red eye engine transmission painted. Everything's going back together. It's looking really, really good. I love the gray hammer tone next to the green metallic. Man, it just looks very classy, but it still has that military kind of feel. So I think the colors are going to go with this perfectly. You know, this is one of my favorite parts of Together. It just reminds you, you know, when you're a little kid building that model and creating that little masterpiece. Well, this is full-size version right here. Can't wait to see how this wide body is going to look on this chassis.
Right now I'm just doing a layup for the kick panels on the Willys Jeep. Trying to get this thing set up so we can get the machine running. No matter how many sets of kick panels I've made or how many panels I've made, whenever we're building these cars, every one of them's different. Every bit has its own way of making a mess out of me, so dirtiest tool in the shop besides me. We may start with a template from another one, but from there we just elaborate on what we've already got. Then we have something that's totally unique, completely different. No one else has it, only that one truck. So everything has to be different.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's up?
These are great. Those are the kick panels?
I could use a little bit of help. Nothing, it's easy work. It's easy.
This is a trick.
I've got all the drawings for the Willys Jeep.
Okay.
I just need you to take the drawings out of the software and put them into the laser software so we can feed Lay's Fonda and she can cut out some trim rings for me.
We're going to feed the new beast.
Yes.
Feed the beast.
Chomp, chomp, chomp. The advantage of a laser cutter over a CNC see is speed and precision. The laser cutter is very fast and very precise. It doesn't need to go over the cut multiple times. One cut and it's perfect. Unfortunately, the machines won't sand for us, so we still have to sand. They'll never be able to do away with us.
The Willys is one of the biggest builds we've ever done here at Extensive. This build took a little longer than expected, maybe a little over budget, but it's something myself and all the guys are really proud of, so I can't wait for you to see what we got for you.
So growing up, my dad always had different kind of cars. Kind of a running joke in my family that every time my dad went on vacation, he got a new car. After high school, I got real heavy into cars. I met an owner that owned her. I fell in love with helping people build what they wanted to build. So the way I got here is, it was kind of a funny thing. They had put a post out looking for a parts person, sent in a resume. Took 3 months before I heard anything back. At first it was a text message. Hey, this is Bill Carlton with Extensive. And at first I thought it was just one of those free hotel stays in Hawaii. But later that night I get a call from Bill. Said I came out for the week and I just fell in love with the place. Being a kid, picking up old magazines of trucking magazines and stuff like that, I would always see the Extensive logo, and I just knew there was no way that I can pass this opportunity up. It didn't take me but 3 days to talk with my wife, make the decision to make the move.
Today's the day to really see how we did. Man, there is not another Jeep Willys like this anywhere on this earth. And I can't wait to really see how John and Scott are liking it.
Bill. What's happening, fellas?
How's it going?
Hey, good to see you.
How you doing, man?
Good.
See you, Bill. Good to see you guys, man. How you doing?
Doing great.
Man, you're about to be doing a whole lot better.
Bill, I've had a truck for a while. This guy's been on me forever to get this truck done, and I can't believe it's done. I keep pinching myself.
I know he's been on you, but we've been getting the emails.
Yeah,
But today,
ready to check it out.
all right, John, come on.
Oh, you hear it? You hear it?
Oh, yeah, baby! Oh, look at that! Wow!
Look at that!
Outstanding! Woo! Good job, baby!
Oh man, look at the size of the
Just what
frame.
I was looking for.
Wow, that thing is awesome. Look how big the wheels are. Look at the size of the brakes on there.
Thank you very much.
That looks good.
Is that wide enough for you?
That is wide enough.
Is
Perfect.
that a bulldog looking
That's
up
a
for you?
bulldog. Look what I was looking for. Yeah. That's well worth the wait just to see what it looked like. I was so excited to see the difference of what it was when we had dropped it off.
Got a kid in a candy store here.
That's true.
Man, I'm glad you like it. I mean, we're all super proud of this.
Oh, yeah.
We spent a lot of time with this truck, right?
Time, yeah.
The first thing we had to do is chop the cab up. You know, had Bob Grant come in, we made it 8 inches wider, 6 inches longer, just to give you a lot more room.
When my dad was talking about cutting the cab in 2 sections, that kind of blew my mind. They did an awesome job.
We added 4 inches down each side of the hood and down on each side of the grill.
Looks factory built.
Yeah,
It
that's
came
the
from
point. That's
factory
what
that
you
way.
want is knowing something's been done. It looks really cool, but I can't quite put my eye on it.
Just, yeah, perfect.
You know, and one of the next things we did is we built a whole new chassis from front to back, and you know, we built in custom air suspension with that chassis too. So if you don't like that stance, you can ride a little higher or a little lower, and it's a transfer case in there, so you still have the front wheels pulling also with the flip of a switch.
Exactly what I was looking for.
It's perfect. The stance is perfect. It sounds mean. It looks mean.
Yeah, man.
First thing we're going to do with this truck is just show it off.
Take home some trophies.
Yeah. Love the wheels on it. Just what I was looking for.
Big 24s on it just look like the perfect proportion.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, coming down at you, you just automatically notice that color, right?
I love the color. It just sparkled.
And the paint is so nice. You can actually reach in and touch the flake. Man, it's awesome.
You want to see under the hood?
I want to see under the hood.
Oh, are you
yeah.
serious? Look at that
beautiful.
thing. Whoa.
Beautiful.
You know, got the Hemi under the hood with the Hellcat red eye, supercharged. There's about 700 horsepower under the hood.
Here, those wheels are going to be spinning. Great.
And we had to custom make the firewall to fit not only around the engine, around the big transmission also.
It looks just like it came off the assembly line. Just perfect.
Yeah, it's a 1960.
Yeah.
We've done a lot under here, but this isn't the only thing. Old John Burgess did a lot inside the cab. Let's check it out.
Okay.
Wow. Get that thing.
We had to start from the very beginning. Threw it all away because, for one, nothing was going to fit, and for two, nothing would match what they've done to the truck. From A-pillars and B-pillars to seats, we were able to hide the subwoofer in the center console. We got your speakers in the kick panels. Everything plays nice and loud. It's in your face, nice and clean. Custom door panels. Nothing in this is from 1960.
Took a blank canvas and made it a masterpiece.
Yes.
We got one more thing to show you in the back.
One more?
Yeah.
Okay, one more.
All right.
Sounds good.
What do you think?
Okay.
It's nice. Wow.
Oh.
We didn't bring it to you like this.
No.
Oh,
So,
and you nailed it. I love the custom corner there. That's where it goes
Yeah.
in the box. I love that.
this has all been constructed by hand.
Wow.
It was just a pile of sheet metal when they started.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
You said build you a cool truck. How we do?
110%.
Love it.
You guys did a great job. I want to thank everybody over Extensive that worked on the Jeep. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You did a great job.
Yeah, it takes a team effort to do something like this, and it's awesome to see everything get together. And
The team hit a home run.
Yeah, they did.
You know, we love what we do. We love building stuff like this, and I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to build this for you. I am very, very thankful, each and every guy at the shop, for making it work all day, every day, and making vehicles like this one of a kind. Well, fellas, we're going to get back to it.
Okay.
All right.
We need some stacks.
Nice bright chrome.
Exactly. It's really going to wake it up. Kind of jealous now.
I'm really liking it.
This is our 37 Ford.
We're going to go a little backwards on this one.
This customer is going to take this beautiful 37 that's complete and go back with a factory style.
That's it. The customer tells us what they want, and it's up to us to figure out how to make it happen.
Oh my God, Bill.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Let's try and pick it up on that side. You know, here at Extensor, we're always trying to figure out a smooth path, right? When something don't work up. So here we are. A friend of mine needs some help. His trailer's built improperly. He called me. Hey man, can you help me out? Watch out, Wally. We're super busy, super backed up, don't have time to do anything, but a friend of mine needs some help, so we're gonna help him out. Pick it up! Get ready to jump off if you need to get off the forklift. If it goes all the way over. What you gotta do it? Cut all these axles off. You gotta cut them off? They're too far back. Terrible. There's never a set path from A to B. Getting the job done, start here, finish here. You get a job like this, you think, oh, you know, we could have put this up on horses. We could have spent a lot of time blocking it all up and working underneath. But the easiest route is just going to be to flip it over. And you think we're crazy, but hey, we got to do it the most efficiently. At the end of the day, all that matters is getting the job done right. And whatever you got to do to make that happen, we're going to make it happen. Getting it back over is going to be fun. On this build, we got to cut the axles off and move them forward. On the next build, it's going to be something else. We're in the business of making things work. The customer tells us what they want, and it's up to us to figure out how to make it happen. Got a call from a guy who has a 37 Ford, needed a little work, so I thought I'd just jump in the van, come see what's happening. Rick,
How you doing?
hey man, good morning. This the one we're talking about?
This is our 37 Ford.
I know you get a lot of looks with this one.
Yes, we do. People always hanging out their windows at us, waving us to stop.
The 37 Coupe was a really popular car that a lot of people customized. How long you had it?
Just got it.
So you bought it as is?
Yep, haven't done a thing to it. Always had a dream to drive a coupe, but after driving it, we found there's some things that don't quite fit us, so that's why we gave Bill a call.
So what's the main issues that you have with it?
Well, I'd like to go back to door handles on it. I've always had in the back of my mind that if the key fob is dead, I won't be able to get inside of it.
I see your point there, but man, taking such a clean, smooth car and putting a door handle on it and retaining the flames, you want to keep the flames on it?
We could, yeah.
finding that right handle is going to be the challenge to keep this clean look.
That's why I gave you a call.
Most of the time we're shaving door handles, you know, taking off that bulky hardware and just making it slick. This is just the total opposite.
Let me show you back here what other things that are hard to work with for us. The license plate. I want to get that up.
Yeah, that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Especially as low as this car is,
Yeah,
right?
the old knees and arms don't work that good anymore, so I really do kind of like the older style back to the rat rod days. My hopes was to put some factory-looking taillights back on it, and then the tag bracket would be with the tag light.
So Rick, you want to take this clean, smooth, flush mount LEDs, you want to scrap that and put the factory tail lights.
I guess that's what it's going to end up happening to be, but
Right. You know, on a car like this, most of the time, that's one of the first things to go is the big tail lights that hang off the back. But I see your point here. If you got to have the factory looking light back in it, we're going to find something that looks real cool and going to fit the car very well. This car, you just don't throw any door handle on the door. The same with the tail lights in the back. You know, that all plays in together. When you add one thing, you can't just add another thing randomly. That would just completely destroy the look of the car.
see if I can get the doors open. I wanted to show you some stuff that's really needs a lot of work.
You got a really clean interior in here, except for that steering wheel.
I donate that to you if you want it. Turning the corners, it's not very comfortable. It's hard on your thumbs. You get stuck in that 37. I'd like to go back with a banjo wheel if we could.
Definitely for this car. It looks cartoonish. I mean, that's customizing gone wrong right there. This is a whole lot of one color in here. You know, I think maybe a little piece of polished aluminum around to tie everything else in together, and even bringing it up on the door panels itself. Contrast on the dash and the door panels is a must on this. I think it'll really wake it up and give you a little personalization there too. Make it yours.
Sounds wonderful.
You know, they say in life it's small things that count, right? Well, in custom, it's the small things that just drive you crazy. You know, like a job like this, just put some door handles in it, picking the right handle, putting it in the right place, and then making all the mechanism behind it. You need that mechanical part of it to work every time. It turns that little bitty job into something very, very time consuming. The worst thing we could do is, you know, check off that list, everything you want, and just, you know, having that eyesore right at the end that your eye just goes right to, like, oh man, that was a terrible decision. That's definitely what we don't want to do. We want everybody to look at this car and go, man, these guys did.
What's happening? They said you wanted to see me?
Yeah, man, gonna need your help.
It's a beautiful looking 37. So what we doing? Maybe a little buff, maybe a little wet sand, you know.
Well, we're gonna go a little backwards on this one.
Backwards meaning?
He wants to put door handles back in the car.
Door handles?
He wants to make it a little more user friendly for you. You already know, hitting that remote, it don't work every single time.
Yeah.
And he just wants that reliability of just going and opening the door. You got to come with it on this one.
I see that.
We're going to try not to damage the flames and have to have somebody come in and touch all that up.
Cool, so we just need to be real precise, measure twice, drill once.
Right.
You know, and make sure we're on point.
Not only that, there's some other things too. It has the smooth LEDs in the back.
Yeah, they're dope.
He don't want them. He wants like the factory tail lights put back in the car.
But like factory with the arms and the steel and the...
You know, we're not going to do that. We're not going to go with the actual factory tail light, but more of a factory style look. So it's up to us to come up with something cool, license plate.
This customer is going to take this beautiful 37 that's complete, and we're going to go ahead and put some factory handles back in it, and then get rid of these beautifully flushed LEDs and go back with a factory style.
That's it. It's still going to have that clean, smooth look. Still have that style.
Hell yeah.
You know, as far as the exterior, that's it. It's on you on that. I mean, the next is John Burgess. He can get with it on the inside. It looks super smooth on the inside too, but it's a little plain, so we're going to wake it up and make it cool looking for him.
Right on. Well, what about that is rough. It looks like a birthday cake, you know, like car on the bottom with the I turned 37, blow out your candles.
That is somebody's bad idea right there. That's one of the first things got to go for sure.
So yes.
Adding all the things back on the 37 coupe that we need to add on, it's a little bit of a challenge to use those factory parts but still make it custom. You know, there's no manual to this, so we're going to do what we always do, figure it out.
The customer wanted that old retro look, so what we're going to do is we're going to fit some retro style lights in here, but still keep the fully recess these lights so we can get it in that hip and then go ahead and mold it in and do a little bit of fiberglass work. And that's where the fun is going to begin. The toughest part about doing a job like this is getting the taillight to actually go in the hip without going too far out to the outside of the body and going too far in. We're going to go ahead and sand out about 4 inches all the way around. That way that allows our fiberglass and our cosmetic repair to bite. So once I get this basket all sanded off, it'll allow us to get a good adhesion between the panel, the basket, and the fiberglass. Cool.
That looks really good. Uh-oh. I bet you the battery's dead.
But if we only got 1 to 2 minutes working time, that means that hardens up like pretty quick.
Just get it in place and put some tape on it till it sets.
So declamp time 5 minutes.
The project like the 37 coupe, it's proof that every build has its own set of rules.
We can figure about an inch out on the bottom.
I mean, that's good. There's just going to be a big gap now on the top. It's all, you know, I help you place it here in a second. Cool. Jamel did a real good job of cutting the holes, getting everything prepped. We're ready to actually mount the light in the hole. The only thing left is to make sure everything is nice and straight, vertical and horizontally. Put it on this side so it kind of balance it. How we're going to do that is I'm going to put a piece of aluminum tubing across here with a couple of pieces of tubing as a spacer clamped to it. I've already taped the light kind of where it goes. It looks pretty close, but if that tubing butts up to the light perfectly flat on both sides, you know they're 100% true. Man, Jamel, we know it's on the money because there's no
guesswork. This jig that you built's amazing.
Exactly. You know, there's no way you can go wrong with this.
Hell yeah. So everything's lined up perfectly. We're gonna go ahead and put some panel bond in here and get these things in here secure. The reason why you can't weld metal to fiberglass. So what we're gonna take here is some 2-part panel bond. It'll lock up quick. That way we can go ahead and move the jig and continue to build this beautiful 37. All right, cool. Now that we have our metal basket for our retro taillight installed and solid, thanks to our panel bond, we can go ahead and start doing some fiberglass work. The fiberglassing process is fiberglass and resin and then the mat. I'll take the mat, I'll cut some little pieces to where it fits around the taillight and fits nice and clean to where I like it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill in where we had to make the hole and add structural integrity on the back side. I'm gonna put a couple of layers of glass in there to make it solid. I don't want no shrinking, no stretching, no cracking, none of that crazy stuff. So while I'm underneath doing structural work, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these beautiful LEDs and do the structural repair on the back side too while we have the car up in the air. Now we're just gonna go ahead and pop these bad boys out. Once the repairs are done, it'll look like there was never any LEDs here. Alrighty, cool. Now we'll cut up some more strips of mat, and then we'll mix up some resin, and we'll fill our holes.
just cure for 24 hours, and then tomorrow we'll do the cosmetic side of it.
One thing about this shop, there's always something going on. And there's always something up next. So while the coop keeps going in one bay, right next door, we're trying to knock out one of the biggest jobs we ever done. That tanker truck. What up, Clevey? What up, Clevey? What up, Carlosi?
What's going on, Billy?
Man, yeah, I'm getting excited about the old tanker. A while back, this antique oil tanker pulled into the lot. It's a 1953 white pulling a 1951 Fruhoff tanker. And it's made for a huge, huge project. We've done a bunch of work to it already. And the front suspension's done, the rear suspension's done. This thing was built before there was power anything, and it's really hard to drive. So we started building an independent front suspension, and out back a heavy-duty four-link with air suspension all around. The diesel.
Oh, yeah.
We're replacing that old wore-out engine with that 12-valve Cummins. This new engine should produce about 3 or 4 times more power. Next thing is getting everything mounted, building the motor mounts, building the transmission mount. You know, once it's all mounted, everything's mocked up, the firewall's all cut out and mocked up, we can blow it all apart. We can paint the engine just a bright red, man. Really wake it up. You know, so it looks like a hot rod semi.
So I gotta find some of that dress-up stuff, billet, chrome, whatever, we can put on in there and
definitely
really set that red off even more.
When you pop that old hood, I want you to see like some bling underneath there, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Sparkle. We need some stacks coming out the back, going up each side. You know, big flat tops.
Nice bright chrome.
Exactly, man. It's really gonna wake it up.
So that sounds like all the front. What about that? The trailer part?
We're gonna need a bunch of parts for that too, man. Of course, we need a bunch of wheels and tires.
A whole lot of wheels and tires.
Right.
That's gonna be a good order.
Once we take everything out, we're gonna need everything new. A new axle for it, you know, the bags, all the four-link, the Heims and everything. We need all that to build all the rear suspension.
And a lot more airline.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right.
Let's make it happen.
Cool.
Come on, Cleve.
Well, all right, y'all.
So we have the Cummins mocked up. Now Jamie and Ryan are going to figure out how to mount it.
What is this? 4-inch. Alright, so the original way that this motor mounted up is it's got this mid-mount here. It distributes the weight equally. Usually we'll go underneath the rear and make our little just mid-saddle that goes underneath the transmission. We can through bolt it that way and, you know, connect it with the pipe, but with the way that this is mounted here, it's not going to really work that way. It's going to have 2 separate transmission mounts on this one. Same concept, just split. This is kind of cool. You know, it's a tanker truck, first of all. It's an old tanker. And now we're putting, you know, more of a modern motor that's just as big as the old one, but, you know, different setup, different geometry, different power, and all that. Boom, shakalaka. It's kind of cool being able to do stuff like this. Not a lot of other people can go to work and, you know, get to use their imagination to make it work. We'll get this guy tacked in here so it don't move around. Doing stuff like this is cool. You know, we get different stuff all the time. It's not the same repetitive crap out a little bit. We get a better weld right there. It's a cool part of the job, you know. Perfecto. I got a cool idea. We can do it like the Bronco over there. The little piece that goes right to the corner of this, so it'll grab the top and the side. That thing, it would be so much stronger like that, since we don't have anything that we're going down to, you know?
That's a good idea.
Because you know how much this thing's gonna rattle. It's like a tractor motor. Yeah, they shake bad.
Alright, I'm gonna go cut 2 6s just to start out so I can get that tacked in. Let me tack it on the bushing. I like it.
You can do the same with the bottom, because we got so much room down there.
Man, these motor mounts look great. It's got 2 good solid anchor points on it. The motor's gonna ride right there.
Strength is there for sure.
Yeah.
Style is cool though. Now everything flows from front all the way to the back with the tubing and the same bushings and everything. I like it. If it was mine, I'd be happy with it. step is to fit this big old motor underneath the cab. So this motor and train setup is a lot different, as you can see from the... To cut into that.
I think it's just this corner right here, just like from like here over.
That's what wood for, just take the wood out. So you're gonna have to rebuild all that anyways. Jamie just got done cutting the floor out. Should be enough. We're gonna lower it down, mate the cab to the frame, and then we can start all the inside sheet metal work. All right, that should be good. Oh, it's a lot of motor in there.
No way.
Yeah. That's all motor.
Where are the pedals gonna go?
Even though that 53 tanker is just so big, that engine and trans combo is just way bigger and wider than an old engine that used to be in there. Looks like a winner. So Jamie's gonna rebuild the firewall and floor.
So sometimes doing sheet metal, you're gonna have to go around things. For instance, this bell housing. You know, we can't move this, and right here, this is where our pedals are gonna be. So I'm gonna have to make this as flat as possible, put my sheet metal as tight as I can, but still have some clearance against this bell housing. You know, I gotta think 10 steps ahead before I start laying everything out. That's not gonna go in there, that's gonna go up. Split this. Break. Hold this piece down here. Now that's just gonna have to be it. That's not gonna work. Man, that sucks. I'm gonna have to cut that. Initially, I'd planned to make like a pocket right here, but you know, things don't work out all the time. It just looked good one way, but it felt different once I put my feet down and check everything. So I mean, it's kind of like I have to do it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut some more of the floor out to make different transitions and pieces on this. It's gonna be a lot better for carpet. It's not gonna be less of a lip for your foot, because I don't want any kind of obstruction between the brake pedal and the gas pedal. You know, this is fabrication, adapt and overcome. You want to ready to do it? In there first? You ready to do it? Yeah, I'm ready.
You know, it already has the curve on it, so
yeah.
We'll just figure out where this fits the cab.
Yeah.
And that pretty much establishes
that's
what
right
we're
there,
working with.
Stack up. Come up right there. One of the really cool processes of making this old 50s truck into something a little more modern is the chrome stacks. It's not only going to look cool, it's going to create even more flow for that diesel exhaust. It's always good to get in a project like this where you get to do some cool new things. One of the first things we're going to do is mount the brackets on the cab, establish how far our pipes and everything are going to be apart.
I'm about to center the pipe right here.
55 1/4. Then we can come right out the turbo to a big T, and then from the T to 2 chrome 6-inch pipes going all the way up the back side of the cab and over the tanker. We got our measurements from our brackets on the cab. Now that's established. We get our measurements here. That's got to be 22 1/2. The next thing is modifying the big T that comes out. We need to cut 1 inch off each side.
Wanking.
Right to hang a stack. See if our calculations are correct. It's pretty solid now. I don't think it's gonna fit. Nope. Might as well go ahead and cut it. You know, since we got this clamp hiding the seam here, we're gonna take these down and weld them together so everything stays nice and straight. We got a 2x2 extruded aluminum clamp to the table. When it's touching all the way down, you know it's laser straight. Super smooth, clean, really small weld is what you want on here. With the 24 valve Cummins, new front suspension, automatic transmission, power steering now. Man, with the stacks, that just completes the whole look. Kind of jealous now.
I like it. I'm really liking it.
You know, I've been really thinking about it a lot of which handle to go with on this 37 coupe. Trying to find a mechanical handle for a door that's this skinny and still having the window operational would be super tough to try to make all that work. So found this online that works with a key fob. So when you walk by it, the key fob is going to sense it and automatically pop the door open like that. So you got a nice grab spot. But we're still going to put a safety mechanism in the door. So if anything fails, you still have a pull cable that you can access, you know, in that secret spot that nobody knows about. You know, the little tricky part on this is just putting the handle in the right spot. You can't put it too far back because it would end up in the door jamb itself. So finding that cool little spot where everything works right is key. Nice and straight right there.
Get out it.
Do it to it.
Cool, get it knocked out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make a little pattern of the actual handle itself because I want to cut my hole smaller. That way I can slowly open it to where my handle fits perfectly. When doing this right here, it's a one-time process, so there's no room for error. That's gonna leave me about 1/8 of an inch to where I can slowly file it top and bottom to get a precise fit. So when I'm cutting this, I just have to make a good, clean cut. It's got to be perfect. So it's got to focus. It's all about clearing the mind, getting comfortable. The more comfortable you are, the better work it will be. Now we got our hole all cut out. And what we're going to do is we're going to make us an access hole right here on the back side. A little window that we can get in there and work. So we can remove some of the fiberglass. You see the thickness? What we're gonna do is we're gonna knock that to about half its size. In order to achieve that, we'll just take the angle grinder to it on the backside. So it'll allow our door. Once again, we'll be bonding metal to fiberglass. So we use panel bond. It's a 2-part epoxy, which we use in the rear. So we'll use the same stuff here. We got our handle in. We got the panel bond on it. Now we're just gonna let it set for 24 hours and then we'll pull it off and do the cosmetic on the front side.
You know, we've done a lot of leather and woodwork in our interiors lately. But on the coupe, John's gonna mix it up a little bit and put aluminum in the dash.
Right, easy enough.
It's gonna break up that leather and give it a cool look.
The dash is gonna be somewhat of a retrofit. I'm gonna start by taking some measurements off the dashboard here, get it in the computer, get it laid out. And from that point, I'll be able to lay out my design and the ideas that I have. Program set and ready to go. I've got some aluminum locked up in the CNC router. Hit it with a little bit of lube. If we don't do this, the aluminum will gall up in the bit. It'll start chattering, get chunks in it, and mess up your part. And off to work. This being aluminum, you only get one chance. You can't go in, body fill, and repaint. It's either right or it's wrong. So I have to babysit this one, running good and on track. But once it's done, the part that's going to come out of the machine will look perfect. Nice gooey mess. So the CNC router's done its job. Everything's cut out and ready to go. That's gonna be cool. With this being aluminum, I didn't want to cut all the way through and have these pieces come loose and go flying around, so I stopped just before I got to the bottom. So now I'm gonna take a jigsaw, trim it out, go over to the hand router, real quick run around it, and these parts will be done.
We finished the custom air suspension on that 53 Taker. Now to give it a huge modern upgrade with that power steering.
What we got going on right now is we're taking out the old hydraulic steering. You know, we're trying to bring it back modern where everybody can drive this truck. You get to this thing, you're not gonna have to fight that big wheel, nothing like that. So what we're gonna do is gonna put rack and pinion power steering in this truck. Got this sight down, that's my drop down to hold my column up top. We got our collar right here. This is gonna locate the bottom of our column. It's very important to get this right. So our steering. Right now I'm just checking to make sure my column's straight. That's sheet metal work. I can make that any way I want to, but this right here, I want to make sure it's parallel. You don't want to be driving and the steering will be like this or this, so make sure everything looks true. I'm happy with that right there. I mean, when you're doing something like this, you need to think 10 steps ahead. You know, I'm gonna go from the rack right here with the knuckle all the way to my column right here. Obviously, I have a clearance issue. I have two options. I can go ahead and put another joint in there, which is going to be more material, more things combined up, or I can go ahead and just remove part of the motor mount, get my steering linkage completed, and then I can go ahead and fabricate something around my steering linkage. I got my steering linkage in, from the collar, all the way down to the rack and pinion. Next thing is go ahead and start making this motor mount go around my steering linkage. So I'm gonna get my angle finder, get somewhat close to the pitch I want. Once I do that, take an exhaust machine, gonna bend it. That's our arch. Go ahead and chop that down. Go ahead and cope it. Once I cope it, it's gonna fit nice and tight on this bushing on the motor mount. Okay, so I got it in place now. Go ahead and shape it out just a little bit with a little heat and beat. Mocked up. It's time to blow this thing apart, take the cab off, take the motor out, get this thing in powder coat. We're clear right there. All right, go back, go back, go back. Go back. All right, now bump it. All right, you're good right then. So now we got the cab off. Go ahead and start slicking down this frame, weld up what needs to be welded. Then off the powder coat we go. Come in. Come in. All right, right there, and then side shift right.
The 53 Taker is back from powder coat.
1, 2, 3.
With everything coming together, we can finally install that freshly painted Cummins. This new engine is a big step forward with many, many more to go.
All right.
There's still a whole lot of work to do on this old truck. We need to get that cab back on the chassis.
There you go. 1, 2, 3. All right, we gotta go to the front.
It still needs a custom bumper.
It needs to go back, huh? It's pretty freaking close right there, though.
interior, and a whole lot of metal work to do on that trailer.
You want to come down a little bit? Yeah, that's good right there, dude. Keep going.
Big jobs like this take worth it, because when we get it done, it's one of one. The nice part about being this busy as a business, even as one job still has a lot of work to do, another one is almost done. John's finishing up one of our last big pieces on the coupe, the door panels.
Going through a few ideas here and making a decision on which one we're going to do. Once we get the base idea down, we'll let the machines cut our pieces out, and then it'll be up to us, get them all shaped in, put together. Kind of nice to be able to get your base drawing on the computer. You still have to be building it in your head. How are you going to put it together? How are you going to wrap it? How's it going to finish out? So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it other than just lines on the computer.
Take this.
This car has so much curve to these doors in all directions. It's basically just one big concave bubble. So in order to get all this shaped in right, we're going to get it glued in place and body work with it on the car. That way it'll hold the shape, because if we just do it on the bench and body work it flat and try to put it on the car, it goes bad. I'll body work and sand, like everything, it'll take time, but it'll be worth it. Yes.
After all the fabrication and bodywork on that 37, Jamel needs to mix that paint to that exact color to match the rest of the car.
So we'll use a dark gray, a gray, and a light gray. That'll give us 3 different shades of red. We'll do one of these 2, which this will give you all 4 different sealers on one card. I'm gonna spray on 4 of these cards, take them up to the car, and figure out which one is the closest match to our automobile. Alright, looks like we got a match. So this one's it, it's over gray sealer. So the next step is we're gonna finish prepping our car, that way we can get in the paint booth and get this thing painted. We're gonna make us some sealer real quick. Let's take our mixing cup, mix us some sealer. Oh, it's just so it gives us a seal substrate. So I'm gonna go ahead, I got the sealer in the gun, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna put a coat of sealer on our panels, and then we're going to come back with our red base coat, dust it out, and then clear the panels. After a lot of searching and being through different shops, Extensive is home. Here's where I can be creative. Here's where the magic happens. The custom paint world, it's different than the collision. You break all the rules. They say spray a tack coat. No. Oh, you only can put 2 coats of clear or 3 coats of clear. Oh man, forget about that. Shoot it the way you want it to look, because that's really how you're supposed to spray it. I know for myself, when I do something, when I do one project, I'm my own worst critic. Now, I've had people tell me, oh man, that looks really good, you know, and I'm like, man, I think it could have been a hell of a lot better. I beat myself up bad, but the reason is because I want to excel, you know, I want to be the best. So in order to do that, you have to push yourself all the way through. No shortcuts, no cutting corners. Producing the best is what's expected. Nothing else is acceptable.
Nice. Perfect.
We've done a lot of work on this already custom 37, you know, from the tail lights to the door handles to a new interior. The customer said it just wasn't right, it just wasn't what he needed. So we've addressed all those issues that he had on his mind and got him hooked up. Now it's just right. Hey man.
Hello, Bill.
You can really tell there's a place in his heart for this car, and I can't wait for him to see it. Come on.
Oh my God, Bill! I don't believe it. waited 40 years to see something like this.
40 years, huh?
40 years. I started building one back in the 80s and I lost it. I gave up on a dream of having it for cruising, and you made it. It's here. You did it. I can't. I'm a little lost for words now.
Let's get a closer look.
Great.
You know, I can kind of understand where Rick's at on this. Losing something early in life and finally that can bring a tear to your eye for sure.
Oh, God, Bill. It's perfect. The taillights, you can see them, yet they're molded in. It looks like an old street rod.
Yeah, you wanted to put the factory style taillight back in, so that's what we had to do. But I didn't want to just put the big taillight that hangs off the back of the fender with the stem coming off, so we decided to mold them in. You know, still have that factory look, but it's all custom.
It's definitely the 30s style of the fenders. It's street rodded, or if they use that term anymore, but it's just slick. This car makes me feel like a kid again. I'm going through my third childhood, and this is going to fit right in with it.
You know, one other problem you had was that low license plate bracket, so we got a nice retractable one now. So you hit a button and it just comes up and out.
Oh, that beats the heck out of reaching up underneath.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
It's perfect.
The hard thing is taking such a nice car and modifying it and not detracting from it. You know, like the door handles itself, picking that right handle to go back in a really clean car.
They're sleek. I was thinking of my old Chevy door handles that would catch your coat, and
right.
I could get in and out of this without worrying about something sticking out. Would be.
It's still an electric door handle, but if that doesn't work, you still have your safety release underneath, so you can pull and actually get in the car. You don't have to get the brick out and smash the glass. So.
Oh my God, Bill, I had never dreamed that it could ever look like this. It was so
creamy.
It was creamy. Now it's got character.
John Burgess knows how to wake something up. He fired up the old CNC and cut out a piece of aluminum.
Oh yeah.
And it can stand off the dash with the two-tone in there. That just really, really comes alive once you do that.
It does. And the door panel looks solid. Before it was just hanging off there.
Oh man,
a lot of work went into it.
Definitely. You see one thing missing too, right?
That thumb-grabbing steering wheel. You guys hit it right on the head with that.
Man, it looks good, and not only good, it looks classy too.
It's classy, definitely.
Getting a car in like this that's already super slick, modifying that to the customer's taste, you know, that's always the challenge, especially something like this. Man, I really appreciate you trusting in me, the company, to add to your dream on this.
Bill, it's been in my heart, and you nailed it. I couldn't have dreamt any more than what this turned out. Long time ago, I was hoping for something. It's everything that I'd ever dreamed of, Bill. My kids are...
And I want to give it that street look.
We got a bag. We got to have air suspension. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Run ho!
The customer wanted show and tow for this 52 record.
We got a full chassis bumper to bumper now to be able to handle anything they throw at it.
Supercharged LT4, 12 inches of lift. As fabricators, this is what you live for.
That's awesome, bro.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You know, it's pretty cool to get to do what you love. You know, when Extensive started customizing vehicles, the basis of everything we did was mainly suspension. Since then, you know, business has progressed many times over to building some iconic vehicles, from a bagged motorcycle trailer to a crazy truck we transformed into a barbecue pit, to a barbecue pit itself on a trailer, to huge builds like taking an old rusty milk truck and turning it into a fully painted diesel power showstopper, to building full tube custom buggy out of absolutely nothing, just an idea, and turning it into something to have a lot of fun with. It doesn't get cooler than that. The diversity of the builds are just gotten crazy. Even today we're going to have electric truck dropped off, which is, you know, the latest and greatest of the car world and what everything's really evolving to. So it doesn't matter if it's a combustion engine, electric, you know, raised or lowered, you know, whatever combination of that it is, we're going to find a way to take it apart, cut it up, put it back together, create something cool, no matter what type of vehicle it is. Everybody at the shop is very talented and they love what they do, and whatever comes to the door, we're gonna make it cool. What's happening, man? Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Bill?
Man, I'm doing real well, man. What you got here, man? A new Lightning, huh?
2022 Ford Lightning, all electricity, no gasoline.
It's a cool truck, man. How long you had it?
About a month.
That's cool, man. You don't see too many of these on the road.
No, you don't, but you will be.
I'm sure, man. That's the way the world's going, right?
That's where the future's pointing.
So does it run pretty good?
Oh, it runs good. No shift points, instant torque.
Yeah, just fun to drive.
Oh, it's a blast.
They got some power, right?
They do. They do.
You know, I had a Tesla for a while, man. It's pretty cool to not have to stop every couple days.
It is nice. I bought this truck because it's the way of the future. It's something I figure I could use for work, and I figured this is the best truck to do that with. I'd like to be able to do something a little cooler than what it is right now. I know these electric vehicles, they have a certain look, but I kind of want to give it that street look, so I'm curious what you would do to it.
So you want to wake it up a little bit?
Most definitely. We use it for the company, and I want it to grab attention.
You know, getting the stance right and getting the right wheel and tire combo with that right profile tire that goes along with that stance, that'll make all the difference in the world.
I'm all for that.
One of the things we can really do to really wake it up is we gotta lower it.
I agree, 100%.
Get rid of that wheel gap. Figure out how to make it ride comfortable too, because I know you spend a lot of time in it, going from job to job to job.
I'm all about that. So I heard the rear end's totally different platform. So what can we do? How can we do it?
I don't have firsthand knowledge of that, but whatever it is, you know, we're going to make it happen. Now, what we have to do to make that happen, I'm not real sure, but we're going to figure that out. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this F-150. You know, this being the first that I know of being lowered and actually functioning, a lot of people are going to be asking questions. How'd you do this? What do I need to do? You know, we're going to have to make sure this thing is perfect. Hey, another thing we could do too, you know, you got that little, was that hide the batteries?
We were trying to make it look better. It came with a running board. We put a step there. Step retracts too low. I know you can probably make it look a lot nicer than what we did.
Man, I think making a custom little rocker piece that fills in that gap, it tucks a little closer to the body, you know, that'll make it look even lower to the ground too, man. And you definitely won't need a step.
No, we won't.
But do me a favor, man, show me underneath the hood.
Let's take a look.
Oh, man. Wow. Man, that takes some getting used to.
I know. Where's the motor at? The radiator.
Right? I mean, the whole grill and everything comes over with it. That's just like, that should be like a hot tub in there. Maybe we need to do that too. No, that's real cool, man. That's wild. Getting an electric truck, the inner workings of it, how it works, learning from it. That's part of the fun of doing what we do. You know, I'm anxious to get it on the lift and to see what we got to do to make this happen.
Well, I'm excited to see what you can do to it.
Yeah, man, I'm ready. If you're ready,
let's make it happen.
It's definitely uncharted territory when you're looking underneath the vehicle and you don't know what all those components are. You're like, man, what is that? I've never seen that before. There's a lot of that going on up underneath the new electric Ford truck. I'm excited about getting underneath it, tearing it apart, integrating our suspension into the inner workings of this electric truck. There's no manual how to do what we're about to do to this. There's no call someone who's done this before. That's going to be us. You know, this is a first of a first once again, so we're going to figure it out. We're going to get up underneath of it. We're going to tear it apart. We're going to see how it works. I'm sure it's going to have its challenges, but I'm ready to get going on it. I'm ready to make a cool truck. There's going to be a lot of firsts on this pan art. Let's see what he's got on this.
It's gonna be a first for me. Definitely more wiring than what I'm used to seeing back here.
Right? Normally, all this is open. There's no drive shaft, a belly pan. I don't even know where the batteries are on this thing. I'm assuming up there.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it definitely wasn't all this.
What do you got in store for us on this one?
Customer's driving around town, goes from job to job, and he wants something really just people look at. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lower his butt. So we gotta make it adjustable. We gotta bag. We gotta have air suspension.
Has anybody done air suspension on one of these trucks yet?
None that I know of. So this will be a first for sure.
Nice.
We're gonna pull out these coilovers, put an air strut in place of it.
Sounds easy enough.
Oh,
Let's just
man,
hope it
don't
is.
say that. I'll never say that here.
The shocks and springs were shocks and springs.
Yeah.
I mean, we got that down, but where to hook up all the components, the most efficient way to run the lines, there's a lot to figure out. You know, once we get all the suspension done, we're going to take off the steps that are there because you definitely don't need it once it's lowered. So we need to replace it with a nice filler in between the two wheels. Okay. Something that flows from the cab all the way down about 4 inches.
We gotta give this thing a little attitude because it looks like a stock truck.
It's going to be real cool. Last thing, of course, wheels and tires.
Man, I'm excited.
It's going to be cool, man. This ain't the first time taking your wheels off, is it?
No, sir.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, time to get after it. Definitely seeing a little bit more light under here than what I'm used to.
Yeah, we're missing a motor. You can see daylight all the way across here. All the suspension, the components, the spindle, the control arm, the spring. I mean, this is what I'm used to right here. But that daylight, man, I just can't stop looking through there. We'll go ahead and get this strut out. Go ahead and remove that, both sides, then we'll go ahead and move on to the rear. We'll do everything same, 18 mil on the top.
All right.
3 nuts off. I mean, the suspension, I'm not intimidated at all. I mean, we've done suspension on everything here. The electrical and the routing has me a little nervous because this is all foreign to me, the way the belly pans are, this electric batteries, this thing. So I'm definitely going to be cautious when I'm going to hook everything up and my routing. Somebody tell Mayor's breakfast. Woo! Please, you hungry? Give you a live bite, buddy. Watch your brake lines.
Everything under here is totally different. Even finding a spot for the jack stands is a little tricky. All these plates, covers, I can see why they need it though, especially with the electric motor right above here. It's interesting to see the CV joints coming out of the motors rather than having a drive shaft or an axle that you would usually see in the rear of a truck. Now we have an electric motor.
We got all the suspension out now. Now we gotta go ahead and get these amp steps out and this, I don't know what you want to call this, but this ugly piece of metal they just cake decorated on the side of this truck.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do it, man. Gotta hold your tongue right sometimes, you know? How you looking over there, Art?
Just working on this one bolt. Then I'm gonna disconnect the motors.
Alright, everything at once. Man, what do you think? How's your first tear down, huh?
Not bad for the first one. A little tight, but got it done.
Ready to put everything back on?
Get to see how this thing's gonna look.
Alright, man, let's get started.
Oh yeah.
Change is inevitable for every business. You know, the 2022 Ford Lightning is one of our first electric, but definitely isn't going to be our last. It's going to create some challenges for sure, but that's just part of what makes this business so exciting.
Man, look what we got here. We got nice air struts right here. These things are beautiful.
That's pretty cool. The airbag that already has a strut connected to it.
Yeah, man. It's got a nice pivot on top, the airbag, and the strut, everything. You know, this is really replacing the spring right here. So we'll be able to adjust this with air pressure. Also, it's got an adjustment right here so we can actually bring it closer together to get that lower stance, you know, get that right look for the truck. They even got us the misalignment space for the bottom. I can't wait to put it on the truck and see how it performs. You know, first thing I'm looking at is the position of our airline. Since we're doing our air management in the front of the truck, from whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna go ahead and turn our leer hose so we'll have a factory. Then I can go ahead and put my spindle back on my control arm and tighten everything down. Everything looks good, so we'll go ahead and start moving on the back. You know, I just noticed this truck has independent rear suspension. You know, it's got its own lower control arm on the rear. That's pretty cool, especially for adjustability on the air management. Going to be able to, you know, tweak this thing however way you want it to. I can't tell you how many times I thought about, like, if I lose a nut and bolt in here, it might short something out.
I've worked on a lot of trucks. This is the first one that had 2 electric engines. One mounted in the front, one mounted in the rear. Used to seeing a familiar suspension system, but not today. Today it's a little different. We have 2 CV joints coming out of each side of the electric motor and some pretty beefy control arms as well.
So once we're done through bolting it, that's it. The air struts are mounted.
Yeah, so those wheels and tires for that 64 here, and I think we also be getting that bedwood kit pretty soon too.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah,
so you need something to do.
I always have something to do. But what I was going to ask you about that tow truck out there.
Man, we're in a real good spot. You know, we built the whole frame on the table. Rear suspension's all done. We just slid the frame up underneath the cab, man. That's always a nice little milestone, and you can really start seeing it come together. The frame's built super, super strong.
Yeah, I seen it. It's almost like a show truck demolition derby at the same time.
Oh, somebody would lose.
So what's next? What do you need me to get for you?
The next thing on the record is we're going to build the front of the frame all out of 2x4. We're going to be rebuilding all the suspension, so we need heims, bushings, spindles, you know, all that. You know, one of the major things I need your help with is engine and trans, something with a lot of power. So LT4 supercharged would be real cool in that truck. You wanted something quick.
Got the frame for it. Well, we shouldn't have any issues getting one of them engines in quick.
Don't jinx it.
We'll see what we can do.
You ready?
I've been ready.
Let's do it, man.
Let's go.
A little too long. Here, give it done with the cab, mounting it to the chassis. Everything's square and straight. So now it's onto the front cross member and building the whole front section of this truck. The best way to do it is how we've been doing it for years. Build the whole cross member out, make sure all that is true. Get it up in here and pull 1,000 measurements. 3 3/16. This is right where it needs to be. It's on the money. So I'll grab some chipboard, make some templates, and make some rails from here to here, and then from here to the front bumper, connect all of it. And that way it's one full complete chassis. That should fit. Now that it's already lined out, all we do is just cut on the line. Make sure it fits first. Let's go try it. Oh yeah. And then take one piece of flat bar. Get a little closer to that corner. Tag it there, and we only got one side to weld and grind. Instead of creating it all 4 pieces and then welding it all 4 sides. You know, little tricks of the trade. I feel like if Wayne Gretzky was a welder, he would be as good as me. I'm like Wayne Gretzky good. They're tacked in. Looks really good. Way cleaner and way faster than piecing it all together. Now we're going to continue the puzzle, finish the front end, and get some weld on us. So in order to do that, we made a little chipboard template. We're going to get up underneath this fender here. We're going to make a few cuts so we can connect the 2x3 down into the front cross member. Transfer our chipboard line, and we'll get into some suspension. Land ho! called a bevel. The reason that we put this little bevel on it is so you can get a little bit more penetration in your weld. To see if you just put two pieces of metal together and you weld on top of it, you're not really, unless you're burning real hot, you're not really going to get much penetration inside that metal. Any stress or any force or anything, man, it'll just crack and break. They put a little bevel in there, get a little bit more strength.
Oh, brother. Where art thou?
Ooh, we're good there. Good there, bud. See what happens when you measure 1,400 times?
We got the parallel 4-link bars in place on the 52 tow truck frame. So Ryan's adding tube work underneath the frame just to make it like a truss and super strong.
Boom. Shakalaka. So now I'm gonna go over there and clean those pipes. And then bring them back.
It's hot. It's hot.
So I can mark this. Yeah, like it. I think that's gonna work, man. Just need some weld and a few tabs here and there, but for the most part, we got a full chassis bumper to bumper now. This will be able to handle anything they throw at it. Tow anything, drive anywhere, haul anything, whatever they want. This is gonna be a good truck. Alright, you got it right there.
The customer wanted Show A4 6.2. It's definitely going to be the right mix of power and reliability. Man, this truck is going to be fun to drive.
Alright, down. Hold up. Hold what you got. It's hitting the back there. Alright, I gotta do a little bit more trimming. It's going this time. Show. Alright, down. There you go.
Voila.
That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you don't ever get to say that, right?
I know, right?
Man, supercharged LT4. This is exactly what this old truck needed. 640 horsepower, 4 black marks.
Yeah, dude.
It's nice and compact, too. That's what this run-in needed, right?
Yeah, buddy. That's clean. All right, I'll do some motor mounts and transmission mount.
Yeah, man.
Keep it rolling.
Do it to it.
Cool.
We set up thousands of air management systems on many other vehicles, but this whole setup on this new lighting is unlike anything we work with.
Wow, you know, I'm totally used to a motor being here, but since there's not, we're gonna go ahead and put our air management up here. New tank, get my compressors on, get my 3P on, then we're set. This is definitely different. It's gonna be cool. Get some Teflon real quick and go ahead and start wrapping these. You know, it doesn't change our air management. It's still point A to point B. You have your compressors, your manifold. Even though there's no motor right there, everything's actually all still the same. Okay, everything looks good. 3P mounted, compressors. Now let's go ahead and mount this inside the trunk. Pilot hole, 7/16.
Those are for the tank.
So this is what's going to secure our air management. We get one nut on it, and we'll get started on the other side, and we'll start tightening these boogers down. Hopefully it's sticking this crosser, I'm not going to get electrocuted. I know there's a battery right here. Wow, this is going to be so much fun. We can't really put a ratchet in there and tighten it up. If it was easy, everybody would do it. There's always answers.
You know, doing something you haven't done before is never easy. And sure, I've definitely been frustrated myself a few times. And in this case, we need to tie that tank in so it definitely won't move around. And because there's a ton of electronics in the way, we can't reach the nut. So we're going to improvise and weld a nut on the end of the piece of flat bar so we can reach on in there.
Now we'll be able to stick this in the fender well, thread down our bolt. That's going to hold and secure our air management. All right, you ready? All right. Bump it. Full speed. All right. Good deal. Okay, so here's our mounting brackets. We got everything fastened from underneath. Nice and solid, so we're going to go ahead and put our air management on it now. The next thing is go ahead and start getting to where we can put our air lines that come out of the back of this manifold through the truck, make our runs to each one of our air struts. But in order to do that, I need to put bulkheads in these corners. So I'm going to go ahead and drill for the bulkheads. Once I do that, I'll go ahead and fasten the bulkhead too. Get that done, then we can start running air line. Okay, now for the fun part. Running the lines. Trying to figure out how I want to do them. If I want to get one clean.
I think simple and clean, because it already looks simple and clean.
I want to put a little extra on it.
Do a big lightning bolt with the airline.
There you go, lightning bolt. Man, you done stole the show. There we go. It's always good to start with a straight piece of line. All I gotta do is make everything nice and even, symmetrical. So then this run 45. So I'm looking at this, trying to run the lines. I want to make sure this is parallel. This is straight up and down. With this is going to be parallel with these bars on the tank. You know, I want it to look clean. I don't want it to look sloppy. And if there's anything wrong with it, you'll definitely notice it. So it's always trying to do the best job. You know, quality counts.
Yeah, go up and over like a Mustang.
Instead. Last line's in. Everything looks good. It's nice and symmetrical. So now we can go ahead and move on to the air struts.
Jamie's installing the air system on the 2022 Ford Lightning. You know, our next challenge is wiring it all up.
Everything's done. Lines to my air struts. First thing is go ahead and mount my air line. Get everything plumbed and ran. Once I do that, I'll go ahead and jump to the back. So basically all I'm doing is transferring the air from the compressors in the tank through my bulkheads right here and right on top of my air strut. My first run's gonna be a 90 out of the bulkhead, straight across to the pullover. So it's just getting the measurements from 90 out to over to 90 in, getting those proper to make everything look like it should. Check for burrs. If you get any kind of burr on this end, that's why we're so careful when we do it here. Is to sand these ends, make sure no burrs get in the fittings. If you got a little burr, it'll tear the O-ring in the fitting, you'll have a leak. You'll be chasing it down. There's a bunch of different ways to run lines. You know, you can do DOT, you can do copper, aluminum. So many bends I want to make with this, I want to make it easy to bend, so I'm going to go ahead and run aluminum instead of just running like flexible line and zip tying it everywhere. We're going to run it the right way, hard line it, fasten it. It's not going to leak. Okay, so that about does it. Got the rear done, got the front done, all the lines are ran. Everything's run right to the bulkheads, to the front, to all our compressors, to our manifold, to our tank. So the last statement. So I already had the line ran through the firewall, so I just need to pull that through, route it. Once I route it, I can plug it in, heat shrink it, then start our air management. Now we're going to controller setup. This will do each corner individually if you want, or all together. It's a real easy system to learn. So when this guy gets to where he's going, he can either be up, down, or in between. And that's it.
Part of waking up this brand new Ford Lightning is changing up that exterior. You know, the customer wants to change the look a little bit and also advertise his business.
Bill gave us a shout. He had a customer that came in with a wrapped vehicle. Had a partial wrap on it with some reflective graphics. He came to us, so we came up with a great concept to fully wrap the truck with a color flip shift gloss white called Gloss White Fireworks. Then we're gonna have some 3D underlays and then reflective overlays, so at night, so it lights. Photographs, pictures, any light source will really make it light up. And then we're gonna have some black gloss accents as well, so we'll have 3-layer wrap that we're doing. So what we're gonna do now is peel off the reflector. The thing about reflective, the film comes off real easy, but all reflective removal leaves a ton of glue. Citrus-based adhesive remover. It works super fast. It's citrus-based. It can't hurt paint. Spray it on. You wait 30 seconds. You take a little plastic razor blade, and it'll scrape all the goop off. Wrap is only going to look as good as the surface is going on. So your surface prep, your edges, your interior trim, all of this just needs to be super clean. So when you're doing your install, your edges will hold. You won't have any failure or lift. Don't ever use a metal razor blade on your paint, period. I don't care who you are, and some guys will argue with me on this. Oh, if you're good at it, well, generally civilians aren't good at it. So we do this for a living, and I won't put a razor blade on a paint. This is the base coat of what the car is going to go. This is called white fireworks. So it's a flip-flop chameleon white sparkle. High gloss, high luster. Whenever you're measuring panels that you're going to do accent panels on or whatever wrap, make sure you have a bit of extra. So you always want to leave a few inches extra so you can't fall short. It's like a haircut. You can't put it back. And I love this color. It's so cool. I can't wait to see it in the bright sunlight. So what we're doing now is the customer opted to have smoked taillights. So when it's on, the light still shines through it. To do it correctly, we remove the taillight so we can get our edges and everything tucked and wrapped around, and that way you don't see any extra red light filtering. But we take the taillights and headlights out in order to do so. And then the last thing that has to fit is this. It's all in the details, so it's a little fine extras that really make the wrap special and solely his. So it's a one-off that nobody else has done.
We're building an independent front suspension on the 52 tow truck. With the frame done and the engine mounted, Ryan's getting going on those lower control arms.
Really good looking wheel. I like the way it's gonna look, especially with our center cap on there. So we put our lower ball joint on the spindle and connect the ball joint to our bushing over here. And we'll just use some half right now and get a little mock-up. And then we'll transfer that to the table and build the actual control arm. That look good. I like doing it this way because I'm more of like a visual person. So this way I can not have to run off 400 measurements. I can actually put it right here and actually test it. That'll be my ride height right there. And I know 100% whatever I do right here, it's just gonna match and everything's gonna be the same on the other side. It's the best way to get it done. Right now, all I'm doing is just making a jig for my controller that I'm gonna build. Cut a couple tabs. Tack these tabs to the table. See, this is the exact angle that I need for my ball joint, and this is the length that I need from center of ball joint to my mounting point on my cross member. So I can make something that has that same angle. We don't need this anymore. We got our new ball joint cut, and I can build my control arm however I want it. That's how you make a one-off jig. Damn, that fits really good on both sides. I haven't made nice control arms like this in a while. That should fit perfect. And that, folks, is one control arm.
Jesse burned out our plates for our lower control arms on our 52 record. Once Ryan gets it all welded up and attaches the airbags,
they're good.
This truck could be able to ride really low.
Alright, we got our plate in. With it being laid out, you can see the control arm is super straight right here. With it straight like that, the bag is going to want to pull and it's going to get in the bind. It's not going to allow us to get the lift that we need to be able to turn it. So I'm going to take this cup right here and that will give us that little bit of extra. And it'll look good too. We'll take this to the table and weld this out. Then find the center on the control arm. Drill my hole all the way straight through. Weld it up. We're good to go. Alright, so now that we got our upper back bracket where we need it, we can continue on with making our gussets. It would look pretty cool if this was all one piece, so I'll make a little cardboard sketch. So this gusset will give strength to our upper bag mount, and then also a little bit of style to the front end of this thing. Yeah, I wanted to change it up a little bit, just on 2 of them, on the front 2.
Just add it, make it like one whole piece.
Yeah.
So I made this beautiful upper control arm brackets for Ryan, but now he wants some custom. Making it one piece will definitely make it look a whole lot better. Since I already have these laid out on the computer, I'm gonna just add this on, combine it together. 2 pieces have become one, so now I'm gonna walk these over to Ryan.
It's perfect. Appreciate it. In with the new. You see how it complements the work that's all been done up here. Instead of 2 pieces welded together, just take an extra 10 minutes. It looks way better. It's gonna be a lot stronger. And this was a great idea because those are the only kind I have. Alright, so my shot can only go that far right there. So the last step of the suspension here in the front is installing the shock. And make sure it's compressed. There. Looks good to me, I love it.
With the suspension and the framework all done on the record, the foundation is set. Now the fabrication can really fly. And making the bed, the boom, the sling, the interior, and getting that LT4 just right.
That is perfect.
This is one of those builds that nobody's ever gonna forget.
It's 12 inches of lift. It's a lot.
Because we're making new rocker fillers underneath the 2022 Ford Lightning, we need to start forming that brand new 18 gauge sheet metal.
After doing all this and the air ride and getting it real low, taking the running boards off, you have all this stuff just hanging down and it doesn't look good. So Bill's come up with this little template for a rocker that he wants designed. We'll take this to the table, throw some marks on some sheet metal, then we'll bend 4 of them, and then we'll cut them wherever we need to cut them. So now that we have everything laid out and cut, we can run over to our brake. Alright, our template here, at every point that has a bend, we have a mark on this sheet metal, so we can transfer what we have here onto our bigger piece. We got this one done. Let's go check it out on the truck and see what it looks like. See if we need to make any changes or anything.
Way too long. It's gonna hurt that.
Now that I know the bends are where we need it, I'm gonna make 3 more that are exactly like this, and then we'll start trimming and cutting and doing everything that we need to do to make them fit on the truck perfect. Bend is kind of high right there. Let's take that together first. Hey, you gotta pull it out further. Not in the stud. Just one nut in the front one. Alright, so now I got it tagged together and you can see exactly what it's gonna look like on the truck. I'm gonna cap the end here and I'll use it to screw into the plastic. So we got it up there. The last step now is to make some brackets to the frame so it doesn't sit there and do that when you're going down the road. We're completely done with the driver's side now. Looks really good. I like it. Proud of it. We'll get that knocked out, move to the other side, duplicate everything that we do over here on this side, send it to the body guys. They'll do what they gotta do, and then we'll get the wrap guys to wrap it.
We've known Bill for a long time, and we've built several vehicles with him. The buggy.
Yeah. I'm building this, full tube chassis rocket. You're gonna let me drive it, right?
37 International.
This thing fire up today, no problem. Turbo's finished, fuel lines are ran. All that's left now is just make it look pretty. The COE.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Do what you do. Let's get this thing running. Let's get her done. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Man, this thing sounds awesome, dude.
Good job.
Some good fun builds.
Yeah, he's always pushing the envelope.
And almost something it will get it.
And which pushes us too, you know. It's really cool that, you know, I have my family, my sons that work with me, and he feeds off of us on some things and we feed off of him.
Just build some killer rides and hopefully make a lot of people happy.
Yes. You know, like if we're struggling, you know, he'll step in and vice versa. And that's what family does. We help each other.
Sometimes you think, oh, the wrap might save some time, but doing it right to make sure it's going to stay on, it takes some time. So Patrick's going to prime the rockers on that 22 Ford Lightning before we can wrap them.
Oh, we're going to spray like 2 coats on and give it about 30 minutes to dry. Get them over the bill. All right, here we go. All right, we got it completely covered. Give it 30-45 minutes to dry. On to the next step.
The vast majority of work we do are custom builds. We go where the customer wants us to go. So when a customer brings in that first 2022 Ford Lightning, of course we're going to get after it. And if this is the new direction, we're going to be ready for it. I can't wait to give this one back. Man, old truck's looking good.
Man, it definitely is. It's a head turn now.
We definitely learned some things on this one, but that's going to come in handy. Our first electric, and it definitely ain't going to be our last.
No, man, this is the future right here.
Uh-oh. So, Tommy?
Yep.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Tommy?
What do y'all got there?
You already working on one of these?
Yeah.
Wow, I love these things, man. That
awesome.
looks awesome.
Very.
I'm telling you.
Hey, there ain't no diesel in this one.
Yeah, but they make torque like us, and, you know, we love that.
Oh, yeah. We love moving mass.
Yes, we do.
The customer came in with it not too long ago, and he had his logos on it, but he wanted something really to wake it up.
Yeah.
When he's driving around, he wants people to look at it, pay attention, and, you know, advertise his business.
It definitely caught my eye when I pulled up.
Oh, he wanted a cool truck, too, so it kind of works both ways. You know, you have a cool truck, and you get to write it off, I guess.
Exactly.
One of the first things we had to do is change that lettering that was on there. The customer got with Wrap Stars. They come up with this design, and they just came over and installed it here.
Oh, wow.
The wrap's like this silver, reflective, beautiful color.
Did you notice, like, when the light hits it, it changes?
Yeah.
It's like illuminates, so it really pops.
You know, one of the other things we did, look on the bottom of the doors right there, it had a retractable step underneath there, and we lowered it, so you definitely don't need the power steps anymore. But once we took all that off, there was a big void. It didn't look right. We filled the void with that little rocker filler there.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it's super clean.
When I was taking these steps off, it was completely alien to me underneath this truck. It was odd.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely not normal F-150 under there.
But what you did, it fits it like it's a factory piece.
Yeah.
It does. It looks awesome.
If you like that, well, you know what we're known for, right?
I do. And so what did you do to it? Wow.
What?
Man, that is cool.
You bagged this thing?
That is cool.
Well, he wanted it lowered, so
You just went all the way?
might as well, right?
Yeah, so.
As far as I know, this is the first bagged Lightning ever.
Yeah.
I've never seen one. That's cool.
No.
We did air struts on this one.
Oh,
We
yeah?
did air struts on the front and the rear.
Also, it rides good, too, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of odd putting the compressor in the tanks where always we see the motor in here.
Dad, it must be crazy for you, from steam engine to coal to everything, you know. I bet it's a brave
I'm
world.
old, but I ain't that old.
It's got those bi-air compressors, man. They pump up 200 PSI super quick to the 7-gallon tank. So you just push a button and
That's
it goes
awesome.
right up to ride height.
So how low will it go?
Check it out.
All right.
Oh,
That's awesome, bro.
yeah, I'd say you got it pretty dang low for him.
It's really cool to be leading the way. A new electric Ford Lightning. Never been on the ground like this. Got big 24s on it. It just looks perfect proportion to the truck.
It does. And the wheels and tires just fit the wheel openings and the truck perfectly. Y'all
Yeah,
y'all
man.
just did an awesome job.
The team came together Once again, thank you to every guy in the shop, sweeping, welding, grinding. Couldn't do it without you.
That's the coolest business card you can get right there.
Right?
That's sweet.
What y'all up to today? What y'all need?
Man,
You know, I wanted a dual wheel, but couldn't find it. The advantage of having a custom shop, we're going to make one. Our 52 wreckers come a long, long way. You know, I've never built a wrecker boom before. I kind of want something that goes with that 1952 era, but still kind of looks hot rodding.
Every time we add a piece to this truck, it just keeps getting cooler and cooler.
I want to lift it. I want to make it super tall. Probably can't go through the drive-thrus anymore.
12-inch lift, you're not going to be able to go through drive-thrus anyways.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Tow truck, you know, has come a long, long way. But we're come to the point of actually building a wrecker boom for the back. To be honest, I've never built anything like that before. So I came over to a friend of mine's shop, you know, see my boy Ryan. What's up, man?
How you doing, Bill?
To see if I can kind of look around and get some inspiration to build a really cool, unique boom that goes with this record. We're building a wrecker, a custom wrecker at the shop. Old school, it's a 1952 Chevy.
Wow.
So we're turning it into a cool, custom hot rod wrecker.
Badass. The guys in the wrecker industry are a niche industry, and they would love to see you do something pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's going to be real cool, man. I got some ideas in my head, but I need a custom wrecker boom for it. And if I need a wrecker part, you the man.
Hey, you don't want to buy one?
Man, it'd probably save a lot of time if I bought one from you to put on the truck, but I think taking a modern boom and trying to put it on the back of this record isn't the way to go.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I kind of want more of the custom look, you know, something that goes with that 1952 era, but still kind of looks hot roddy.
Cool.
So, do you have any booms or anything I can kind of look at just to kind of see how for? So, I kind of want to see, like, the inner workings of it.
Well, we got plenty of booms around here to look at, get your ideas flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you make yourself at home, wander around, and I'll catch up to you here in a little bit.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, man.
The boom, sling, and everything, that's what makes a wrecker. You know, getting that right is going to be key to this whole build. You know, getting the proportions right, getting the style looking and matching the same style as the rest of the truck. I've never built a wrecker boom before. I've seen them driving down the road back and forth, you know, hauling a car, but I've never actually put my hands on one. And there's all kind of stuff I want to look at. Sometimes when you're doing a project, you just got to go out and see what else is available. And looking at their ideas is going to inspire new ideas to build something really cool. And that's exactly what happened today. And my ideas are in there. Going back to the shop, we're going to put those to use.
Engine's coming in, finally.
For which one?
For the blue truck that's out back.
Which blue one?
The one that doesn't have the engine.
That one, okay.
So we got a lot of work going, but I see that tow truck's coming along pretty good.
I'm really confident in the place we're at now. We're building pretty much everything from scratch. I mean, the only thing factory is the cab and front end. We built a totally custom frame, built a totally custom bed. The next step is building a boom for it. You know, I've never built a wrecker boom before. I think I got a good idea how to do it, though. I'm going to lay it out on the table, make a template, and then give that to Jesse to burn out. And then we're going to box it all in so it has a nice shape to it coming off the bed, going all the way back. You know, design it so it flows really well. Not just two pipes sticking out the back of the truck like the old school wreckers are. Can't have that. Once all that is made and built, you know, the next thing is the sling. That's going to be like a
a focal point of the whole rear of the truck, because you're going to see that front and center. So you got to spend a little time coming up with something that looks really, really cool.
Yeah, that'll make it look like the tow truck.
Yeah.
Then it'll be done.
No, not by a long shot. Man, there is a lot of work still got to be done. Finishing up all the metal work on the bed itself, put the fenders on, running boards, make sure they tie in, and then it's off to powder coat. We're going to start making the layout for the boom of the record truck. Man, I'm kind of liking that. So I'm going to play with a couple different ideas, get some different angles. We don't have anything there, really anything to go by. So my plan is just to come up with something real cool looking. I'm not really trying to stick with any vintage era, anything like that. At the end of the day, what we want is just something that looks like a cool hot rod that just happens to be a record. I'm going to take this chipboard over here, throw it on Jesse's table, let him get after it.
It's just like any other drawing to bring me, but this one's just like a whole lot longer and bigger this time. So I'm gonna do the same thing as always. I'm gonna drop my big box around it and just get all my construction lines, get all my little curves that I have to get in here, put it in a computer and just cut it out.
Just gonna burn it out of 3/16 plate, so everything's nice and strong and stays fairly straight when we weld it and grind it. Then we're going to cap it all the way around so it's got cool styling to it.
Got this last piece for you. All ready to go.
Come this way. Back. Right there. Okay, so now I got these two pieces together. Now you can see what's coming up to be just a one solid piece. So now we're just gonna fill it in with 2.5 flat bar all the way down. From here, I just gotta put in the flat bar and kind of shape it as it goes. Start tacking it from there, just gotta fill it in. Okay, got everything tacked in now on this side. I'm gonna flip it over and do the exact same thing. It will be a complete, just one piece solid.
And you see now how everything is really starting to take shape, man. I love how it's looking. The guys did a great job getting a head start for us, having it all welded together, sanded. All we had to do is cap the ends, which is awesome. We can continue rolling. We got all the plates boxed in. It's really good. It's really going to go with the flow of the whole truck. So now what we're going to do is connect it. We're going to mount the wheel on the front where the cable actually spins through. And on the back, we're going to have the DOM welded in place where it's going to pivot. Well, buddy, it's up to you to make this look good. Once that's all done, we're going to take it over to the truck, weld it in place, and man, that's a wrap for the back of the truck. We will start with the square. I went across this morning to take a peek at the wrecker and shouldn't have walked in, because when I walked in, I was voluntold and walked out with a project. Bill gave me a template to work with. He wants me to make the sling out of aluminum, so get it all drawn out and we'll let the machine do all the work. Next step, we'll get a piece of MDF, put it in the router, run a test cut just to make sure everything's right and everything's the way we want it. See what they look like. Price of aluminum, we don't want to screw it up. Works good. I like the way it's going to cut, so let's get some aluminum in the machine, get it loaded up, and start cutting. Not bad.
has the overall vision of these vehicles, you know, and he adds these little bits of flair here and there and does his thing. But every now and then, he gives me the opportunity to put my little piece on it. You know, this all started flat 2D, really not even knowing what he was after until I made the first prototype. Then from there, ideas were endless. We were able to actually really put some time and effort into this and make something that's really cool, something that will really stand out on the back of the truck.
Man, I love how this bed's coming together on the old record here. But, you know, like every record, it's going to need a light bar, and you're going to need something to hold. It looks really cool and flowing up the front of the record bed. It kind of hugs the cab itself, you know, the shape of the cab, and just kind of all flows together. It looks really cool at a distance away from the vehicle. Got my chipboard, got my big-ass scissors. I want one column that comes up out of the bed, up, and kind of holds the light bar here. So I'm going to go with this width all the way down. Put the winch up here, see what's up. Might make it go into a winch mount or something. But I can't cover too much or it won't cover that. It would protrude out.
That's going to have boxed in just the...
Yeah, it'd be better looking, right? Oh, good. Let me go draw it back there. If it don't fall, it means it's good. Got something for you, bud. Every car we do, I want the attention being drawn from a ways away. Like you see it and you go, oh man, I really need to go check it out. That's always the point of when you're creating something like this. But you don't want it to look for trucks blended into one. So we're creating a cool looking record bed that goes with the cab. So this is just another aspect of the bed that's going to be created to go with the whole overall look.
I'm going to start tag welding this light bar to them. And then you can, from there you're going to see the light bar start taking a shape.
Jesse and Max did a great job cleaning these up, welding them, doing everything that they did over there. So we're going to throw them in the truck right now, and we'll build everything to the truck instead of doing it on the table. That way it's right on the money, and it goes right in after we get it coated. All right, this one's level, intact, and everything's good on this side. Jump onto the other side, make it match. So what we're trying to do here is still have access out of these windows, you know, be able to look behind you going down the road. And also it's just like a cool factor being able to snake these in between and all that and keep... Alright, so when we initially put it up there, we noticed that it was kind of slanted back a little bit and we didn't really like the look of that. So cut a 1/4 inch off the front of this, we're going to throw it back up there, check it one more time. It should be good this time. This is going to be a really cool factor to the truck. You know, with Bill's idea, I think it's going to look great, and it's not something that you can just go purchase and buy. And with all this going on, he's still got that one extra little touch, you know. It looks awesome. I like it. It's going to look sweet with all the lights cut in there and all lit up and going. This is a really, really cool addition. I like that.
New one, huh?
Yep, 23 GMC Denali.
You've had it on order for a while. I heard you really got it in.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of tradition around here to get a new shop truck once a year or so. You know, we're a custom shop, so the truck's definitely not going to stay stock for long. We got to keep up with the latest and greatest and show people what they need.
Well, when I was walking up, I see you have that look in your eye.
Definitely going to need your help on this one. You know, it's a 23 model truck. But I don't want to leave it stock when we're out driving around in it and going to shop, right? Of course, I want to make it big in the front. I want to lift this one, and I want to lift it about 12 inches.
Yeah. The good thing about that is it's going to be an easy find for me. Back in my hometown, Bakersfield, there's a lift kit company that specializes in those type of lifts. I could reach out to them and bring some of California into Texas.
All right, well, earn your keep around here, right? We'll see how good you are on that. 12-inch in the front, and, you know, I can't use a kit on the back. We're going to have to build a 4-link with big bags, because I still want to pull that big trailer we have, you know, and be able to load it down. I like the roof rack on the Baja truck. So I want to go ahead and put one on here also. I know it's going to suck, so I probably can't go through the drive-thrus anymore, but...
you know, with the 12-inch lift, you're not going to be able to go through drive-thrus anyway, so...
But I want a lot of lighting on it too, man, so get a bunch of lights coming, under lights, roof rack lights. You know we got to see at night. You know, I want to replace the bumper with the new one, lighting on that. Get rid of the little pontoon running boards, man. Let's put retractable steps on it. Lighting all underneath. And, you know, of course, wheels.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. If we're going that big, you have to be doing something big with the wheels.
26s for sure. I want all black wheels. Some ideas for the back.
Of course you do.
It's a 1-ton truck, but a single wheel. But I want to make it into a dually. I've been looking for all black dually for quite some time, but there's just none out there. So the advantage of having a custom shop, we're going to make one. And, you know, it's not going to work with the bed, so I'm going to pull this bed off and put a CM bed on it. You know, a nice flat bed, something that looks really cool. And with the CM bed, man, you know, I don't like the taillights that come in it, that trailer style light. You know, I want to change that. So I'm thinking, pull these taillights out and put these taillights in the CM bed. So I think this would be pretty cool and give it that cool custom look too.
So I got a lot of work ahead of myself to make this represent the company, and it's going to be a challenge to get all this stuff.
Well, yeah, we want it quick too, man. I want all this done before the plates come in.
Oh, so you needed stuff like yesterday.
Let's get it, man.
Well, I got to get going then and get some stuff ordered.
Let's make it happen. Customize all sorts of things around here, and when we get a new shop truck, we got a truck. A lot of people are afraid just to take apart a new truck, you know, just getting a new car in, blowing it totally apart, and just getting after it. You know, it's good for everybody at Extensive too, you know, seeing what the manufacturers have surprised us with this year. Brand new, latest technology, latest model. What's different from last year to this year. It only makes for a stronger team around here. It's cool to be able to work on the latest and greatest, but it's also really cool to drive around in the latest and greatest.
I see you got the truck in here. I know it's time. You can't keep nothing stock for very long.
You know it wasn't going to be long for sure.
That ain't your style.
Well, you got to have something new, you know. It's 2023. Start off the show season real soon, man. We got to have something new, fresh, always. That's what we got, 2023.
GMC Denali.
Hell yeah. Got a plan.
All right.
Man, I want to lift it.
Okay.
I want to make it super tall.
Okay.
About 12-inch lift on this.
That's pretty good.
One of the first things we're going to do, Carlos found a cool kit in his hometown. We're going to unbolt everything, and just install the kit in the front to save us some time. You know, this is going to be cool. You know, I wanted a dual-wheel truck, but couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Make it a dually.
All right.
And I want to put a flatbed on it, so give it that totally different look.
I see where you're going with this. I know already that we're just not going to put a stock bed on here and bolt it down. All the bells and whistles, you know.
Well, it's one thing I want to do is the headache rack that they come with. I don't like the styling of it, so we're going to change that up for sure.
Okay.
And on the rear, what we're going to do is just cut everything out of the back and install big 4-link on the back and, you know, these pontoons on here. You have that. You got to have retractable steps.
Yeah. Nice.
Once we're all done with that, we're going to powder coat everything.
Man, I can already see this already. Way up there, out there, and bright.
Yeah.
Well, let me get art, man. I'll get this thing started tearing it down.
Yeah, man, let's do it. All right.
you know, this is our new shop truck.
It's nice. I'm excited.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
But first things first, let's go ahead and get the thing cleaned out from underneath it.
Go give him a kiss.
Okay, I think you should be able to pull it now. Ready? All the way in the back. Art and I just got the bed off. We're gonna go ahead and pull a spare tire now. Once we get that down, go ahead and take those steps off. We'll be able to rack the truck. Once the truck's racked, supported, we'll be able to start pulling that front end apart. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull the rear end. Then we'll have the clean slate we were talking about.
Tilt it down right there. One of the big parts of making the boom for the 52 record is getting that placement right. Yeah.
I'm just gonna set that right there so you kind of just keep a hand on it. So go grab that other one real quick.
Okay.
Just stand it up.
Up a little bit. Right there. Good.
Both of them need to be spread out. Push the whole thing that way a little bit. Yeah, we'll drop a plumb bob here in a minute, but just for now.
It's perfect.
Tack it. Definitely need to go up a little bit.
Right.
Looks like a damn record. This is where all the hard work really starts to pay off. You know, all the hard work in the bed, all the hard work in the frame finally come together, and being able to put the boom into place, you can really tell what it's going to be. It's going to be just a cool, sleek, hot rod record.
Alright, so we come up with another cool design to go with this boom. We want another wheel to where we can hide our winch line through the center of the boom, and you don't see it from the side, just kind of hang them out in thin air. So we want to put it in here like that. We'll have a through bolt going through, and that way whenever you look at it from the bottom or the top, all you see is the floating wheel on the inside, and the bolt will be internal. We'll box this all in, get this welded up, get cleaned up and grinded, and then we'll fit it up to the boom.
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah, that looks good.
All right.
Until you make something like the boom on our 52 record, you don't really know what it takes. There's a whole lot of unique parts and pieces that go into making something like this. Ryan's making one more. Custom braces to hold that boom exactly where it's supposed to be.
Right now we're gonna make some turnbuckles. Get a rolled pipe in here, get that same arch as our light bar rack here, and put two heims on the end. We'll have a turnbuckle system, so this can actually go up or down. The first thing here, we're gonna roll some pipe now that we got our arch, and we'll take it from there.
Sure. Let me see that bad boy. We'll find some Dom. Fancy's Vance Auto Ram.
Alright, right there. 50? Yeah, 50 is fine. Alright, we'll take that one back there to the sander.
Okay.
Let it rest like that. And then hold it kind of at an angle. And make sure it's going to keep on rolling the whole time, alright?
Okay.
You're going to roll this. Whenever you're running this, just go a little at a time. We'll roll it right to our template that we have made here. Then we can cut off the ends. 26 minus 8.
18.
So they need to be 18 inches long.
Looks pretty straight. All right, now we got our pieces cut. Throw some bungs in it and some heims.
We got our bars stacked up. Let's go try them out and see how they fit.
Come on. There we go.
Alright, so now that Dustin and I got the bars made, you can kind of see the direction that we want to go with. You can see the little slight arch in it. We'll get this bolted in. These will go on the floor here for a through bolt. Our boom will be done after them.
We got our boom braces done, dog. So not only do the boom braces look great, they're also functional. So you can adjust it up and down. Every time we add a piece to this truck, it just keeps getting cooler and cooler.
You know, as busy as we are, we're down a shop truck. So we got to balance making this 23 Denali as cool as possible, but getting it back to work as soon as possible. So to save some time, Carlos really came through today and sourced a front lift kit.
As you can see, we've got the suspension parts on the truck taken out. This is part of the new lift kit that will give the truck up to a foot of lift. All right, first things first, this is gonna be the first piece we install. 2 bolts, 1 on each end. I line up my bolt holes, pass my bolt through. Now that I got my first piece put in, I'm gonna start with the second one. We'll be able to continue on the assembly of the new front ends.
You need some help, man?
Yeah, I can use a little help here.
Where you at right now?
Right now, I already took out the front differential. Now I'm gonna mount these drop brackets in place.
Okay.
So, I'm just figuring out exactly how they're gonna get configured. Once we have the drop brackets in place, we'll be able to mount the differential back.
Let's do the other side real quick.
The whole purpose of these things is to make up for the new distance that's gonna be added on underneath the suspension of the truck.
All right, man, what do you think? First shot?
Sure. I'm gonna find it.
You got one in?
Yes, sir. This bolt's in.
Okay, so we got our differential, and now you can see the distance, how much we've stretched this differential from the frame. You can see about a foot right here. So that's our drop down. That's actually going to lift the truck up higher, bringing this down. So next step is we'll go ahead and put our connectors in for our supports right there. Once we do that, then we'll be on control arms. Okay, so it's got to dip down for right here. Okay, let's go ahead and hang an arm. All right, so we got that drop down. Then we're going to go ahead and go control arms. We are ready to hang a spindle. So that's upper. It's easier to hang the bottom than pick it up and set the top in. What's up, dude?
Yes. Get moving, baby.
Okay, so we got our drop downs on. We got our upper control arm, our lower control arm, our spindle, our hub. You know, we were way up there before. Now we're down here. I mean, this right here, just kind of see how much more we've lifted the truck from just looking at this spindle right here. Okay, so this is looking good. Our next step is to get rid of the torsion keys, and we're gonna put our strut bars in. But once we do that, you'll start seeing everything tied together on the frame.
You know, when it comes to custom, nothing is ever easy.
There you go. I don't want it.
Even when we're not building the parts, like on the front suspension on the 23 Denali, it still takes a ton of tweaking to get it right.
Look at everything else done in the front. Bar bracket down. All right, let's see what's down for now. We have a mount right here. This is going to let us bring it down right parallel with the lower control arm. Get our torsion bar in. Everything will be nice and parallel, lined up perfectly. Look at that, going right in. Basically, your torsion bar takes place of your coil spring because this is a four-wheel drive. There's no place for the axle to go, so it's a CV joint. So you can't put a spring in between that CV joint, so you use torsion bars. I've got my torsion keys in here now. This is gonna preload the lower control arm so it won't fold up into itself. Basically, a bolt run so here puts tension on this torsion key and it twists the control arm up or down. Cool. Okay, so we got our new shock with our reservoir, spacer. We're gonna bolt it up to our upper shock mount and then we'll bolt it up to our lower control arm. I'm real happy with this setup. Everything's supported, tied in together. You know, we got 10 to 12 inches of lift. Now we're gonna blow it apart, send it to powder coat.
We're off to a good start on the Denali, but we still have a lot more to come.
Bing, hammer, knock it through.
Custom rear suspension, the lift, bed fabrication.
Move the stand.
But since I couldn't get a stock dually, we're gonna make it one. This isn't the first shop truck we customized, and it won't be the last. Here you go. Just throw that up there. I get a clamp it up there.
All right.
Today's the kind of day it gets me excited. We finished all the custom parts for the 52 record boom. It's actually dangling in the middle of the hitch. Now we can mock it up. John milled out some cool little pieces for our record sling. I gave him a little template. He made it absolutely perfect to it. This is going to be the top part of the record sling. We're going to hook to the cable itself. Let it kind of dangle back here. You got it?
Yeah.
Pull it. Alright. We got our lower piece here that connects to the bed. It's dangle. Sit right here. Okay. Let the bottom piece kind of hang out where it's going to look the best at. Figure out our length of our sling. Just come down a little bit. Right there. We're at a really, really good spot on this build. It's all finally coming together. All that hard work, all that cutting, welding, grinding, it's finally starting to pay off. Got everything mocked up on the truck itself. Made sure everything looks cool, looks good in proportion to the bed itself. So went and had this rubber matting all water jetted out. So it's gonna fit in here perfectly. What you think? Man, it looks good. Ready to haul a car. Cool, man. Well, let's get it on the truck. Let's go. Never built a record bed before. Never built a record boom before. Never built a record sling bed. Looks cool. Pretty much all the metal work's done back here. Only thing left to do, man, is pull it all apart. We can go ahead and pull the bed off.
Alright, you're clear.
Grind, weld. And we still got a little bit more fab work on the cab itself. Parts off the blast, parts off the paint. Powder coat the chassis. Keep it rolling. Yeah. Back from powder coat. The guys in the body shop are gonna get it all body work and ready for paint.
Alright, we just got this record bed back from powder coat. We about to get started on the body work. We got a lot of welds we gotta cover and it's gonna take a while, but we're here. The reason we had this bed powder coated first is because the powder coat actually, it lasts a lot longer than the solvents that we use like the primers and sealers and stuff. It basically gave us a real hard armor to start with, and Bill wants this to last like forever, so then we get the primer. And we'll get to the color in a minute.
So what got me into fabricating was actually welding school. Didn't even honestly like welding at first. The only reason I did it was to get out of school early in high school. I got out at 11 o'clock, 3 days a week. Man, that was great for me. I didn't like it all the way through school. And then I actually got a job. We were a really small time shop. There's a lot of farmers and oil field work around. Learned a lot of good stuff. We built a lot of cool cars and trucks, you know, bagged a few vehicles, lifted some trucks, learned how to fabricate there, you know, really grew my skills and my interest in vehicles and building parts for them as well. So working here, man, it's awesome. I learned a lot from Bill, Jamie, and Ryan, and all the guys out here. They've been teaching me a ton. It's almost like high school football compared to the pros. You know, now that I'm here, just want to keep getting better, raising the bar, just keep learning, keep building, keep cranking out these awesome cars. 5 years, hopefully I can be at the level of these guys here.
You know, when I think back of all the handmade things we've done on this 52 record, frame, suspension, bed, and now the boom and sling, we're talking hours and hours of what we made as fabricators. Because it's a show truck, tow truck, we're gonna go with a really dynamic color that'll show off all that metalwork. So it landed on a really cool looking indigo blue.
I got the cab in the booth so we can get that first coat on. Got our first coat of seal on. We're gonna give it a few minutes, let it tack off, and then I'll come back with my second coat. Well, you can actually see if you missed any spots, so this is gonna be real, like, light spots. That's why we're using this darker sealer over the light gray primer, so we can actually see if there's anything left out. We can easily get it. That completes the second coat. What I got here is that beautiful indigo blue. So there's a lot of pearl in that. It's a lot of metallic. It's gonna look beautiful in the sunlight. Pretty much look like we're covered for the first coat. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the second coat. Paint job, which is the clear coat. It gives you that gloss that you're looking for. And I'm actually gonna put 3 coats on this.
Cab's one of the only pieces that we kept off the old record, and you know, bring it up to date, modifying the firewall, getting rid of all the old on it, and spraying that new blue. It looks really good where it's at. You know, see an old cab over rolling up in the parking lot, and what do you know? Who pops out? Brian and Ryan paid me a little visit today.
What's up, fellas? Man, it's a good-looking truck.
Thank you very much.
What is this?
52 Ford, cab over engine.
52 Ford, huh?
Yep. Got a little diesel engine in it, automatic transmission, air conditioning, power steering, and brakes.
Yeah.
Full hydraulic rollback bed on it. Pretty cool little truck.
He's been a little lower, but it's cool.
Yeah, there you go.
So Bill's been building this 52 Chevy tow truck show truck, and I brought my dad by. He's real eager to see it.
I'm interested in building the tow trucks. We've been building them for a long time. Like to see what Bill's coming up with.
You want to see it?
You bet.
Right, man. Come on, check it out.
Oh, look at this. That is really nice.
Beautiful.
Starting to visualize it and see all the parts together now. So far, what we see is super cool.
Pretty much all we used on this is the cab and front end and built everything else.
That's absolutely amazing, man. I don't know how you keep coming up with this.
Man, that's a ton of work just to get it to here for sure.
I really like that firewall and how clean that is. What you've done to the dash, keeping it in that same era but modernizing it.
Yeah, man, this thing's really going to be something cool when it's going down the road.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be over the top, man.
Yeah.
Is that the original bed?
Every piece of that's all handmade. There's nothing original on that whatsoever. Started building a frame on top of the frame that we built and just kind of cladded it with sheet metal and just kind of step back, look at it, see how it kind of come about. You know what I mean? Just adding a piece here, getting back and look at it, adding another piece, and just start building like that.
The flow is really good. I like how you kept it in that same era, but bringing it more modern, hot roddy. I mean, this thing is really nice. It's beautiful.
You know, I stopped by your shop a while back and got some inspiration for a boom, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me show you what I came up with.
Oh, cool.
Wow, isn't that something?
That is gorgeous. And looks like something you'd find out of a Hot Wheels package, but for grown folk.
The boom looks like a boomerang, is what it looks like.
Yeah, man. We couldn't just go with like just anything modern. That's a lot of work, but I think that's the best way to do it, to make this whole project come together. I'm proud of it. Every guy at the shop is proud of it. I mean, we busted our butts on it to get it to this point. There's still a ton of work. You know, once we get the frame back from the powder coater, fuel lines, brake lines, air lines, all the electrical, all the new interior, we're still going uphill on this one for sure.
Well, take this around to the tow shows. This thing's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to get it all complete. I can't wait for that day the test drive comes. I know the customer's going to be super, super happy about this, and I can't wait to give it to him. I can't wait to get this done.
So, man, was that old John Cena's Bugatti over there?
Yeah, man.
Ain't many of them out there, man.
No, man.
It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, the old Bugatti, they're real hard to find, hard to see. It's going to be a real job to make this one come out.
It's been taking me a little while to kind of get a plan of what we're building. You know, I just don't want to throw a bunch of parts at it and here's your car. You know, I want to give him something really, really cool, really unique, and, you know, something he can be proud of. I finally have a plan for the Bugatti, and a bay is opening up. And just like the record, it's going to be a lot of work. Once that car is done and complete, that's just one more project like this that's just going to keep us on top and just get people talking about
it. Check it out.
Yeah, man, Brian can buy us lunch.
Man, we'd appreciate that.
We can do that.
Do you want to get it? We definitely need to lift it. Make like a floating pile on. Set it apart from all the other records on the road for sure. 49 Ford is just an iconic truck. Woman came in and she wants to build this for her dad.
Right on.
Full show custom. That's what we want.
The engine trans, that's the parts they have. Everything else we're going to have to make. Now I'm nervous.
Holy
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
What's up, Ryan?
How you doing today?
What y'all got going on today?
Mark just bought this 4500 Dodge from me with the 312 bed on it. Started talking about doing some customization to it. I said, man, it's going to be a lot easier if we just go get extensified. So here we came to see you.
Cool, man. It's always good to see Ryan from RPM. RPM's where I get all my records from. Ryan's rolling up in a new truck with a new customer. He's always looking out.
So I'm going to leave Mark in good hands with you. I'm going to go in the office.
Cool.
Y'all take care.
Appreciate you, brother. So I anticipate this truck really being a showstopper, but also a workhorse. We do a lot of heavy-duty recovery, off-road recovery. So I need something that will work, that can take abuse, but still look good.
All right, man. I like that.
This truck is going to be a practical truck. It's going to be used daily, but I still want it to be custom. I love going to car shows, so I want the best of both worlds.
To fit the whole look of the truck, I mean, we definitely need to lift it, right?
Definitely.
You can't lift the truck way up out of the air and still be able to use it.
Still got to touch the ground.
There's only so much room, there's so much angle that you can kind of cheat on. That's going to dictate what size wheels and tires. You can't go too crazy high because you still got to make it function.
Yes, I have 24-inch wheels, and they have a powder coat that match.
Nice. All right, cool. But no tires.
No tires.
Okay, so we can lift the truck and maybe even a 38-inch tire or something like that. There might be quite a few custom parts that have to be made to do something like this to still make it function.
I see why he brought me over here.
Hey, man, but that's going to be super cool. Yeah. You know, all the little things you do to this truck will pay off. And for
we're gonna lift it, man, it'd be real cool to put a big, aggressive new front bumper on it with maybe even a winch in it, so you can still use that too.
I like that.
And if we're doing all that, we got to color match the grill. You know, make it
get rid of the chrome. The chrome's got to go.
Of course, getting rid of the running boards on this.
That's not cool, and it's going to get caught on something.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I know you're going to want a bunch of lights on it.
I want to be seen.
To go with the off-road theme, a roof rack on the top with all your emergency lights on, built in it would be real cool.
I mean, I want to light things up. My guys would be much more safe with lighting.
You know, now I'm getting excited. Man, this is the first thing. This just kills the whole look of the truck. This right here.
It's a big piece of the back of the truck.
Yeah. What we need to do is cover this diamond plate up with like that foam step material where you can still use it, but it would look really, really cool.
I like that. It'd look really clean.
It
really
would look super clean, man.
And it'll hold up to elements really well as well.
Absolutely.
This truck, I'm going to take all over the country. You can have a cool truck represent your company and be an example, you know. I know I'm in good hands.
Let's go make it finish.
Let's do it.
Some companies just change their logo to something a little more exciting, you know, wrapping the truck, changing the color, but that isn't going to cut it. We're in Houston. There's probably more than 1 million tow trucks around here, but a cool tow truck like this is going to be, that's something you never see. And it definitely has its challenges. The bottom line is this is the tow truck, so it still has to tow a car. So it's important on this to change enough things where it really looks like a cool custom truck, but you don't want to just go overboard and not be able to use it. You know, we're going to check 2 boxes. We're going to check function and we're going to check custom. Finding that happy medium where you make a cool truck, but still being able to use it every day while looking good.
Well, that's the record. What we got going on here?
Man, you know we like record trucks around here,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
But the problem is with this, he wants a cool truck, but he still has to be able to use it.
That's gonna right up our alley.
Yeah. First things first is, let's get this on the lift. Let's pick it up at different heights.
That's a good
actuate
idea.
the boom to see what's what on there. You can't go too high or it just hit the front bumper.
So we still gotta have it functional then with a lift.
Exactly. So we gotta have it low enough to be able to hook to a car and still be able to use it. But we still need to lift it to make it look cool.
Work truck, show truck. Yeah, like it.
Then we're going to do some cosmetic things. We're going to take off the running boards, new front bumper, color match, all the chrome. Can't be having that. And back here, you know, this just looks
outdated.
It does, man.
Yeah.
So we clad it with sheet metal, then we're able to stick the foam pad right to it, and we can bring some color down in this also.
It's gonna really tie it together just doing that. That little, set it apart from all the other record beds.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be unique.
Yeah, cool.
You know, the next thing is, you know, the records have pylons on the back that usually put the emergency lights on it and they hold their tags and everything. I think what would be real cool on this, something I've never seen before, is build something off the roof rack and come down the back side of the cab and make it look like it's floating, like it attaches to the cab and not the bed and record, and it just look like a cool truck.
Like an off-road recovery vehicle.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
like how the chase trucks and Baja, like all
Exactly.
decked out.
A really cool truck that just happens to be able to pull a car.
Yeah, dude, that would be super cool.
Right? Yeah.
Alright, got it, please. Alright, let's get the lift arms underneath it and get it in the Alright. You know, we're putting a lift on it, so we can't use none of this. So we're gonna go ahead and start disassembling the front end. Torch time. Drop down bracket, obviously not gonna work with our lift, so we'll go ahead and start cutting a portion of it off. Start scoring it on the weld. Start breaking it off.
We're giving this truck a 6-inch lift, but the factory link arms are too short to handle this height, so we're going to make some longer ones.
That's it, man. We got the links on. We can go ahead and put our springs in, get it down on the ground, get the measurements we need, continue on. One little bump. All right, go. That's about as far as I went.
We got our coil spacers in, got our coil springs, got our shocks in. Everything's looking good. Now we'll put some wheels and tires on the truck. Lower it down and see how our ride eye looks.
Alright, so we got it on the ground now, kind of shifted it around, jumped on the suspension some. You can see it's a lot higher now than it was before. So we get that right wheel and tire in here, it's gonna look great.
Big trucks call for big parts.
Sometimes the customer just wants their custom truck to look good. Other times, they need it to perform. The 23 Ram Wrecker, it needs to do both. Look good and carry heavy loads as a tow truck. So we're adding helper bags to keep it from bottoming out. And Jamie's installing the mounts for those right now.
Now we got everything leveled and squared perfectly right here with our upper back brackets. We got our plate mounted at the top. So next is go ahead and start making our gussets. Overload spring, there's going to be a lot of pressure right here, so best thing is nice rigid piece of pipe, be welded to our bag bracket. That's going to gusset this bag mount very well. Once we put our side gussets on, it's not going to move. We can put whatever we want to, whatever kind of load on this truck. These helper bags are going to really do the job. I got my angle, I got my length. I'm going to go ahead and cut two real quick. That's going to be my lower helper bag mount. So that's going to be the foundation for the bag plate. Once I do that, I can weld them together, mock them up on the rear end, find center for the bag, tack weld them in, weld them out, and that's it. That's a helper bag kit right here. That's going to handle plenty of load. Whatever this guy wants to haul, be able to adjust the suspension, keep this thing riding right.
This is going to be super cool. I got a call the other day from a customer with an old truck and some parts. I asked her to bring it all in so I can take a look.
Bill, Stephanie, hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So what we got here today?
This is my dad's 1949 Ford. My dad is a car enthusiast. He's a racing aficionado. He built a custom 49 Ford when he was 16. That truck is long gone. He acquired a new truck and he's been thinking about rebuilding it, but he just hasn't pulled the trigger yet. So I'm here to make it happen.
Man, I love it. I love it. Has he had the truck for a while?
He's had it for maybe 2 decades or more. I'm not quite sure.
It looks like it's been sitting out in the field somewhere for a couple of decades.
Yes.
You know, a 49 Ford is just an iconic truck, but this truck right here, I think, was an experiment on rust, you know, to see how long you can let it sit out in the field, to see how bad you can get it. We're at the end of that experiment, and the rust definitely won. So, does he know the truck's here?
He does not.
Oh, it's a total surprise,
Total surprise.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So what you thinking here? Are we just getting it running? Here you go, Dad. Enjoy this patina. It runs good now, or are you wanting to just
No, it needs to be a really cool truck. Full show custom. That's what we want.
Well, that's what we do around here.
I know. I'm excited.
On a project like this, what we do is get it in the shop and just start from the ground up. Just rip everything out, tear it all down to nothing. You know, seeing what's underneath all the paint. We'll blast all the parts to really seeing back from there. Something like this, we just have to build a whole new chassis from front to back. And to get the stance right, we got to put it on air suspension.
Absolutely. The stance is important, maybe even a tilt towards the rear.
Yeah, well, that's totally up to you. That's the cool thing about air suspension. You can adjust it higher, lower, front, and back, however you want to ride. So that's definitely the way to go.
All right. Sounds amazing.
Because Stephanie brought an independent rear suspension she wants us to use. We're going to build a suspension setup that we don't usually do. We usually use a traditional straight axle, but in this setup, the rear wheels move independently from each other. It's going to be pretty cool to incorporate the air suspension in with that. You know, judging by the outside of the truck, I would think the inside looks perfect, right?
Maybe better.
I'm really hesitant of opening that door.
Oh my God, something just flew my eyeballs away.
Oh yeah, mine too. Dust particles, rust particles.
Well, that's about the only thing that's in here. Opening the door, seeing what's inside here, there's no interior. It's pretty much just a seat frame. That's about it. It's great for teardown, but John's going to have to build everything from scratch. The interior needs just as much work as the outside headliner. You know, door panels, kick panels, bucket seats with the console down the middle. I mean, just having that custom feel when he sits in there. And of course a stereo too when the daughter gets in.
Right.
We'll get him hooked up. I see you got an engine in the back.
Yep.
Is this a pull out of a Mustang?
It is. 2020 Coyote.
Nice. That's absolutely perfect for this truck. With the right tune and everything, it should probably put about 600 plus horsepower.
Nice.
So that'll be absolutely perfect.
My dad's a gearhead, so the faster the better.
I'm sure
right?
he's going to love that.
Yeah.
Once we get the engine out of here, you know what would be real cool on this? Instead of just putting like a bedwood kit or something like that in it, how about we make the bed floor raise up to expose all the framework, the cool suspension.
Yes.
You know, to be able to show all that off, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Building a custom frame, most of the times you really can't see the craftsmanship. You can't see how much time is involved in building what we build. So raising that bed floor up doesn't get cooler than that. You know, I hope one day my daughter would do this for me.
Hope so too.
This is going to be a cool project. You know, this 49 Ford is just an iconic truck, but looking around it, there's a lot of bad on this. Most of the time, the problems are hidden underneath the paint or hidden underneath the carpet. You know, this truck, what you see is what you get. And what I'm seeing, I ain't one. Normally on a project like this, you talk with the customer. If there's no emotional attachment to it, they're quickly discouraged just to how much labor, how much work, how many parts go into something like this. But on the other hand, when it's been in the family for a while, you have that bond with you, your family member, and the car. That's when your emotions come into play, and that's what drives you to build something really cool with what you have to work with.
Tell us when, Jamie.
All right. About right here.
You in here, Bill?
Over here.
Are we recycling trucks now or what?
Looks like it, right?
Yeah.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, I've seen some better than this in the junkyard. Seriously.
Right. I know a bit about these trucks, and I grew up with one of these trucks. My dad still has his to this day. Know a lot about these, and I know it's a lot of work to put these together right.
But man, it's got a cool story though. A woman came in and she wants to build this for her dad so she can give it to him as a surprise.
Right on.
So I guess he bought this one somewhere along the way with intentions to fix it up. You know, one of these days I'm gonna get to it. One of these days. One of these days. Well, today's the day. She's done her homework too, for sure. She knows she wants a 5.0 in it, wants a Coyote in it. So they took all this out of a Mustang. The engine, trans, rear suspension, you know, that's the parts they had. Everything else we're gonna have to make. You know, we're going to start out by building a brand new chassis, front to back, with air suspension. And, you know, something I've never done before is build an independent rear suspension also.
That's going to be cool.
Oh, yeah. The advantage of independent rear suspension is it gives you a lot more stability over uneven surfaces. There's going to be a lot of unique challenges to make this fit in this truck. I'm kind of excited about that for sure.
Yeah, something new.
Once we have all that built, you know, we're going to get all the body panels straight. The body shop's got 1,000 hours for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of sheet metal work to make this trans fit under there also in order to make it really, really low to the ground. And she wants to be able to show off the cool frame that we're going to build. Have the bed floor lift up so you can see everything in there.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the interior. John's got his work cut out for him for sure. Everything is beat up on this.
Every corner.
Truck's had a hard life.
Yeah, I guess we should have just left all this outside and just brought the cab in and started over, right?
Well, I ain't got no daughter, but if I did, This sure would be a cool present, man.
Well, I got a daughter.
I'm gonna cut these off with a cutoff wheel real quick.
Alright, man, start on that. I'll start torching this bumper off. Let's start tearing this whole truck apart. It's rough. It's been sitting in the field, out in the weather. This kind of stuff's supposed to come apart easy, but you wouldn't believe how these rusted bolts hold it together.
Still some over here.
Wiggle it back and forth.
There we go.
A lot of bad metal in here we're going to have to replace.
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah.
Just cut two, like 3/4 square tube and 1/2 inch pipe, any like scrap. Just cut two pieces, 32? 28. We're starting on the frame for the 49 Ford, and we're gonna do this a little bit different. Get it square with this, a square here, a square. We're gonna start out with just the frame rails underneath the cab itself. Man, I like this table.
I love this table.
We're gonna build from the cab forward with the independent front suspension and then move to the back, because I don't really know how we're gonna do the back part. It's gonna be an independent rear suspension, something I've never built before. So once we figure out the rear suspension, we can take the back part of the frame and then build out around it. The first things first is just the two main rails, and we're gonna get them up underneath the truck and then go from there.
Let's go y'all's way. Do one more check, make sure everything's square on the frame, then I'll get ready to start building my cab mounts. Just trying to make clearance for my mount right here, so pull my frame about 1 inch forward past this. All this radius is going to change when we go to build our cross member. Okay, so I got my rear cab mounts here. You know, I'm going to have a hole on one end to bolt through. Then we're going to go ahead and cap the sides to make, you know, the strength for it. So I got my cab mount done now. It's in place. Once I get this tack welded up, I'm going to do the same to the other three. Once that's done, the cab's going to be mounted to the frame. Then we'll go ahead and move on to the front.
Now that we finished the lift on the 23 Ram, we're going to start with a prefab roof rack and then customize off of it.
Alright, we're going to light this thing up. It's going to be insane. We're going to have lights all over. We got 6 of these rigid lights we're going to mount on the front of the roof rack. 4 bolts to install, and then you can adjust it. He's going to be able to light up any scene he shows up to, do any off-roading at night. It's going to be a total game changer.
You know, something that's just every wrecker has to have is something to hold the emergency lights. You know, usually that comes in the form of a pylon in front of the wrecker bed. So what I want to do is come off the roof rack and make like a floating pylon so it holds the emergency lights. Man, why don't you go ahead and cut me 4 of these out of 16 gauge real quick, and then we'll just kind of go from there. You know, I kind of got an idea in my head, but kind of start taking shape once you get the parts made, okay, and then kind of see where that takes it.
Alright, here's your pieces.
see how to attach it to the top, and then, yep, so that is level with the bed.
Okay.
See that? We're making a custom pylon off the roof rack for the 23 Ram record. Okay, that's probably pretty good height. What I want to do is attach this to the roof rack itself. I want like a floating pylon, right? So what I want to do is make just a line of the cab here and then curving down over. You know, something just with a little radius to it.
16 brakes. Alrighty. Well, let's go give her hell.
We're getting there. That looks pretty good. There's no set way, okay, I'm gonna build this like this. Everything changes, you gotta adapt all along the way. I've never seen one like this before. I've never done one of these like this before.
Yeah, that does like match the cab really well.
So we're just kind of, before you know it, you got a cool little finished piece, but there's a lot of things you got to figure out and adapt to all along the way.
Money out! Something!
You know, with building this floating rack here, we're not going to have anything that attaches to the bed. So there's not going to be anything holding the back of it from flopping around. So we're going to attach some mounts to the back of the cab. So you won't really see it, but it'll have that extra support of holding it, you know, to the cab itself.
Yeah.
It's going to look pretty cool. You know, it won't have that traditional connection to the bed. So it'll set it apart from all the other records on the road for sure.
I gotta find some tools.
While we're finishing up the metalwork on the 23 Ram, Patrick's going to color match all the chrome and badges. You know, it's not the type of thing you notice right off the bat, but with everything else we're doing, it's going to give this thing a subtle custom look.
What I have right here is the badge for the Ram tow truck. Customer wants everything chrome painted to match the truck. There's an easy way and a right way, but here at Extensive, all you need is a normal little lighter. You don't want to get it too hot. You just want to heat it up enough to where the badge actually wants to just come off. We basically have to heat up all of the plastic terminals on here to remove the badges. We did not damage the points to put them back in, because we definitely have to heat these back up once we replace them. Just scuff it up. First step in this paint job is the sealer. No matter whether it's chrome or plastic or metal even. Once you spray this over it, it will give you a uniform coat. So once you come back with the blue, everything blends. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this mix started. It's called Hydro Blue. There's like 8 different toners in it to make the color. So we can go ahead and get that popping. Flash time. My goodness. About to pass out in there. By it being 111 degrees here, it was only taking 5 minutes of flash time. Let's get in the hot quit running down my legs, dude. Now, I turn the oven on, let it bake for 45 minutes, maybe an hour, on to the truck.
Now ready to put this front clip on? Careful up, you don't mess it. Pretty center. So my man Dustin here, he's gonna help me out today.
Yeah.
So, right,
Yeah.
You're gonna do a good job today?
I'm gonna do a good job.
If we can get all this in today, then I can say yeah. Then I gotta give you a pat on the back and say good job, Dustin.
Maybe even a gold star.
Hold up.
We won't know for sure on the 49 Ford how bad the body is till it gets back from blast. But we know the Coyote engine's going to put a lot of power down, so it's going to need a brand new custom frame.
Hold the aluminum and bump it. Alright, we're going to build this frame in 3 sections. We built underneath the cab to get everything nice and square, everything centered on the cab itself. So now we're going to build the front part of the frame. Because every vehicle is a little different. There's a lot of room for error. You take a bunch of measurements and then build it on the table. Yes, you can do it, but the likelihood of mismeasuring somewhere along the way is very high. So to be able to build it to the vehicle, just more efficient that way. No room for error. You already got this side cut? After you get them both cut, Seth, bring them in here real quick.
All right. We're going to do a little something. All right.
Just use a little square right here. Because we're taking this piece of 2x4 rectangle tubing and we're making it fit on the frame from a 2x4 to a 2x3. So the piece has to be tapered down. It's a short piece, so it'll fit in the bandsaw, but there's no way to clamp it. So I'm just tacking a couple pieces of 2x2 tubing on it, nice and square, so we can throw it in the saw and just cut it all at one time. We got a super efficient way to cut close, that way it don't walk. We got our 2x4 all cut down to a 2x4. Gonna fit on this side up to a 2x3 at a slight angle, so it should fit. If Dustin did his job right.
Of course. Why? Oh yeah.
Hit in the corner right here. Yeah. 10 3/4. Spot on this 49 Ford. We got the middle part of the frame all built, and now we have the front part of the frame all mocked up. So that's it, man. I mean, that is 100% on the front. Then we can move to the back.
It's this last clamp and then we're ready. A 49 Ford truck is a classic. But we're still talking about a 70-year-old truck. Let's book it in there. Alright, pick it up some. This Coyote engine and trans takes up way more space than the original engine did back in 1949. So as usual, we gotta make more room. Alright. Before, obviously, the floor was bad. I mean, you could see through it. So obviously we had to change that out. So I went ahead and made some pieces real quick. Bead rolled them, tied them in, made sure they're both the same height. I mean, everything's true right now. So the next step is go ahead and make my kickers, where your feet rest up right before the firewall. Get them trimmed a bit. I'll go ahead and tack them into our floor pieces. Once I get these 2 panels done, I'll kind of know the shape of my transmission tunnel right here. So I'm trying to make everything even. Then I'll go ahead and start cutting out my firewall and make that thing beautiful. The border and then inside the border reversed it. We'll lay it out on the table. Man, we've done a ton of work to this old cab so far. You know, got the floor replaced, transmission tunnel in. You know, the last part is replacing the firewall, which, I mean, we could just weld the holes up, but we want to give it a little bit more style than that. So
I want to cut the whole firewall all out, replace it with some 20 gauge, put some bead rolls in it. You know, give it something to look at when you pop the hood.
I'm about to cut this firewall out, but one thing I want to save is the original VIN tag on this, so gotta be careful, because this right here identifies this cab of the truck. Origin, date, everything is the disc. We need to safely take it off so we can put it back on the truck later.
It's looking good. We got our majority out of the way. You know, next step's making a pattern, transferring that over to metal. We'll have all that rough cut, do some bead rolling, fold the edges, and put that back in place.
Now I'm nervous. I was born in the truck as soon as you pop the hood. So if I mess this up, I gotta start all over again.
There we go. When I see a truck looking rusty and as beat up as this 49 Ford, I definitely know we got our work cut out for us. Now that the firewall is done, we got the cab pretty much as far as we can take it. Now we're going to send it off to blast to see exactly how bad it is. Once it's back, we can get back to building that frame and suspension. From a custom bed, interior, wheels, tires, man, this thing is getting the works. But the nice part about having a busy shop, even though we're just getting started on the beginning of this project, we're just about done with the 23 Ram.
Alright, see how that fits up there now.
Alright. We're going right here, right?
Correct. So we're gonna start doing this cladding right here. You know, this diamond plate is kind of outdated. Everybody's got it, and we don't want something everybody else got. We want something fresh, something new, something nice. So we're gonna go ahead and clad this. We're gonna make a pattern with this chipboard exactly to form all this diamond plate right here. They're gonna put foam on top of it, then we're gonna fasten it to the bed. It's gonna look slick. Yeah, I'm good with that.
So on this piece, we got some brakes in it. Just so, we're gonna transfer that to our sheet metal, go to the press brake, break it, go to the bed, make sure it fits. All's good.
Now that the cladding is made, we had it scanned to turn into a 3D model for the custom foam overlay. This will make it look really cool and also give it a little design and grip. Way back in '94 when I started, it was just, you know, taking a passion for what I like doing, working on cars, taking the skill that I learned from my dad, welding and fabricating, and combining those two and just creating and creating and creating and just seeing what comes about. When you have a passion for something, you're not set in your ways. You're always trying to outdo yourself. A lot of builds over the years are just, man, you can't do anything else to it. Everything's been done, but there's always room for improvement. Once you've built a car, you can always go back and go, oh man, next time I'm gonna do this, or I can't wait till we do another one of these. That way I can approach it a different way around here. Having the creativity, having the skill set, combining those, and trying to outdo the next guy and outdo our last builds.
You got the bottom side in?
No, I don't have the bottom side. You want the bottom side first?
Man, maybe honestly just get the bottom started and I'm gonna come down with the lip.
It's always cool to get something in the shop that's not run-of-the-mill, not ordinary.
Yeah, that's tight.
The 23 Ram is all about still being a work truck, but it's gotta look cool and custom. And we did just that. We went with some big 37-inch tires. Aggressive new front bumper, new side steps. The truck means business. It's not only a cool custom truck, it's ready to go to work. Today we're out in Missouri City at the Texas Wake and Scrape Car Show.
It's a community on what they got. This is the perfect place to give old Mark his truck back. It's gonna fit right in around here with all the custom trucks.
So Bill called me and told me to come out to Missouri City today for Wake and Scrape. Said he had a surprise.
Mark, what's happening, man?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. You about to be doing a little better too.
Man, I'm ready. I'm ready. Is it here?
It is here.
No,
ready for you to check it out, man.
Man,
I mean,
let's go.
You came in with the plain Jane, and now your truck definitely fits in at a car show perfectly.
Play with my emotions, man. Come on.
We got you hooked up, man.
Let's go.
I know you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Holy! That's the truck. Woo! Man!
Wow!
Dang,
that ain't no stock regular no more.
No, it's not. Everyone's gonna see that truck. I couldn't believe that was the same truck that I had dropped off.
So the first thing you see is that big stance when you're walking up to it. When this thing's coming down the road at you, you were going to take notice for sure.
Get out the way.
So it's a 6-inch lift on it, you know, new 4-link, color matched everything underneath.
It's clean.
And not just color matching the suspension, you know, we got rid of all the chrome on the front, replaced that, it's 1/4 inch thick, you know, it's definitely not just for looks.
No, that'll work.
It's made to work.
That bumper's going to hold up to that winch, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, the truck's got some height to it now,
right.
So in order to get that angle of approach, you know, a little bit lower, it has air suspension on the back.
So it'll drop down and I can still get under a car.
Absolutely.
Wow.
We knew you were going to still use this truck and work it, so we know that's a must.
That 6-inch lift on that truck really sets that truck up. It stands out. It's going to represent me and my company very well. We're going to be noticed definitely out on the streets. Man, look at these lights. I mean, they're endless.
There's lights everywhere. It's an off-road theme, right? So we didn't want to just put a pylon on the back and put a bunch of lights on it like every other truck on the road.
Right.
So we made a custom pylon that bolts to the cab. It pretty much incorporates into the roof rack and comes down and attaches to the back of the cab.
So it's floating.
It kind of floats.
Yeah, that is cool.
You know, I've never seen that before, and I thought it'd be really cool.
We're going to light up the world with that. I mean, my guys are going to be able to see what they're doing for sure.
Man, you did a great job picking those wheels too, man. The 24x12s, we put 37s on it. That's unheard of on a tow
truck. I mean, that's bigger than my heavy duty tires.
Retractable steps on it,
right?
That really wouldn't work.
They fit just perfect. They go with the suspension and the rack. It just ties it all together. It looks like a monster truck tow truck. I mean,
it fits in amongst show cars around here.
Yeah, he thought this through. He knew that I needed this truck to work. It still needed to be practical, but we were going for the show look. He killed it.
And, you know, we got to customize it from the front to the back. Made some panels to go over the bed that we could stick Pro Deck to it. You never see this on a tow truck, right?
Seen on anything but a boat.
Yeah, it just really wakes it up, right? It's different from everybody else's.
Oh, yeah, and it just lays over.
It lays right on top.
That is
sticks right to the panels that we made, and we bolted them right down over the top of it because you couldn't stick it to the diamond plate.
Never seen anything like that, especially on a tow truck. I mean, that's next level right there. All in all, I came into this with a vision. Everything that I expected was surpassed. You know, I wanted something that stood out. I wanted something that was the wow factor. But it's got to pay for itself. It's got to work.
Absolutely.
It's how I make my money.
You got to pay yourself back on this, right?
Definitely.
As always, it's not a one-man band. It takes everybody in the shop using every one of their skills, from the guy sweeping to the best fabric touch in. I can't wait for the next one. Well, man, let's go check out the show.
Man, I'm ready to go.